Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Welcome back to Crime in Sports.
Yay!
Oh, the yay is warranted this week, Jimmie. Crime in Sports number 50, episode 50. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you've joined us for the entire 50, but if not, you're getting in on 50. Welcome aboard. We're happy to have you. Go back and check the rest out, but we're going to plow forward right to 100
The
and
Super Bowl's at 50.
It's at 50, exactly.
Yeah, we're big time now.
Please. I think it's 51 this year.
This year's 51, but we'll get beyond that before they do.
Yeah, we'll be at 100 while they're at 52. Please excuse my voice this week. Last week. Last week it was you that sounded horrible, and this week I have had the week from hell. I've had the plague all week, and
it the waterfall?
It's still there. Oh, it was going
horrible.
I haven't been. This is the best I felt in a week, and we had to delay recording a couple days just because I literally couldn't speak for 2 sentences without running out of breath.
This is the best you're getting out of him.
So this is the best you're getting out of me, and I'm going to try my best. Hopefully, my voice isn't too terrible and won't drive you running for the hills. But thank you so much again for joining us.
The things we put ourselves through for you people. We try so hard.
We do everything we can.
I was literally crying last week leaving here. Like, I can't believe I left that shit for them to listen to. And thank God people seem to be very nice about it.
They're going to be kind.
But I sounded like dog shit.
People are sick. They're sick. Yeah. If you had me in here when we were supposed to record a couple days ago, you guys would have been like, oh, my God, take him off the air.
That's the guy that tells the story.
Wow, that is terrible. You sound awful.
We'll listen to a couple of dick jokes from somebody sick every fucking 2 minutes, but somebody that's telling the story?
That's bad.
Fix yourself,
Fix yourself. Thank you guys also for all the iTunes reviews this week.
So big.
You guys, you stepped up this week. We really, really appreciate it. The iTunes reviews help us enormously. Mm-hmm. They help us to get sponsors. They help drive us up the charts. We were really high in the UK this week. Thank you,
so
UK.
Cool.
And
Top 40, man.
To say thank you, we have a UK gentleman, a UK story for you today.
You are welcome.
That is wild and crazy. Before we get into that, hope you liked last week with Isaiah Ryder. Is that as much of a disaster as a human being could possibly
what a
be?
Scumbag.
It's just one thing after another with
Doesn't
that guy.
quit.
And it's so funny because now we're in a lull and he hasn't had a crime in a couple of years. Go back and listen to J.R. Ryder, and he's kind of in a lull right now, and he's just all about the kids and the charity. But he's been there before, so when he screws up, we will be here with an update, like we have for another gentleman tonight. We have an update for you guys.
I love follow-ups. This is so great.
All the way back from episode number 5, Jimmie Superfly Snuka.
Yep.
All the way back from that episode. Big goings-on in the Snuka case this week. Just to recap, if you haven't listened.
And we've updated him before.
We have.
Right?
We had one update.
And we kind of knew one.
We knew. And
there's going to be another one coming in the next 6 months.
This is a big one here. Let me just recap the Snuka story. If you didn't listen to episode 5, I don't know what you're thinking, but go back and listen to episode 5 because it's a trip. But I think it's a violent Forrest Gump is the name of it because that explains him perfectly. On May 10th, 1983, Jimmie Superfly Snuka had a little incident with his girlfriend, Nancy, and she ended up unresponsive in a George Washington Motor Lodge in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is not the place you want to be unresponsive with yellow liquid dripping from your mouth. You don't want to be there. Snuka said they had been, quote, clowning around by the side of the road, and she slipped and fell and hit her head, so he left her in a hotel room and just went and did his business and came back.
That's what I do.
That's what I usually do, too. I see someone, I'm like, she looks like she's dying, but I have to be somewhere in 20 minutes, so I don't know.
I can't show up with that shit on my shirt.
What am I going to do? So Snuka eventually called the paramedics and took off, and the police got a hold of him, and he's a professional wrestler employed at the time by the WWE, WWF at the time, and basically Vince McMahon, who's the owner of that, everybody knows who Vince McMahon is, basically told him, you dummy the fuck up. act like you have pudding brain and sit there and don't say a goddamn word. Act like you're a foreign savage and you don't know a goddamn thing. And it worked for 25 years. Actually 32 years to be exact it worked for. Until Snuka was finally charged with the crime in 2015 for a 1983 murder. So we covered that, and we had a good time with it. It was wild. But this week, on January 3rd, 2017, we had a little thing. Snuka was up for the charge, and then there was a competency hearings. They were having competency hearings because he said he was senile and had dementia. And we debated whether he's just acting like he always did, or if years and years and years of getting smashed over the head might have actually caught up with him. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other at this point. But this has been going on all year. This was, I think, March of 2016. This was all going on, the competency things. And it was cleared up this week when Lehigh County, Pennsylvania Judge Kelly Bannock determined that Snuka is incompetent to stand trial. Incompetent. The third-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter charges were dropped. Snuka is 74 years old. He has dementia and what they're calling chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is CTE. But they can't diagnose CTE unless you're dead and they take your head apart, basically. But they're saying he displays all the outward symptoms.
Head mechanic to take apart your transmission.
Yes, exactly. But they said he displays all the symptoms outwardly, which honestly he's been displaying since about 1975. So this is all. Who knows if this is part of the act? But
he only has. They expect him to live for 6 more months. That's what they said.
That's what they're saying. He's currently in hospice
Fingers
care.
Crossed.
He is in hospice care in Broward Medical North in Florida. There. So if you want to go take a gander at Jimmie Superfly. Judge Bannock said, quote, "The court is satisfied that the defendant remains incompetent and that the court is satisfied that the defendant will not regain competence and it would be unjust to resume the prosecution."
So he's just going to outlive.
He's going to outlive the charge.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Live long. And now his lawyer, Robert Kerwin II, who we know that's a junior.
You betcha.
Don't try to put that second by me like that's not junior, asshole. We know what you are, a junior. And in true junior form, he says, quote, "I was convinced that there was zero chance the district attorney's office would be successful from the beginning. We were very confident that this would never result in anything other than dismissal." Jesus. So he's had blind confidence for some reason. And Lehigh County Attorney's aide, Megan Wyand, said, quote, "We are considering our options and will decide at the appropriate time what action to take."
All right.
What action are you going to take at this point? You're going to go down to the hospice and put a pillow over his face? At this point? What more?
Hopefully God will decide it, if there is one.
What more? There's nothing left to do. I mean, it's like you're going to Hyman Roth him, and that's it. That's all you can do. Put a pillow over his face. Snuka is also, in July, he joined the WWE lawsuit. There's a lawsuit with about 50 wrestlers suing the WWE for CTE injuries.
Oh, really?
Like similar to the NFL players one.
Fascinating.
They filed it pretty soon after that, and they were like, hey, we can get in on this too.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
We've been getting hit in the head with chairs.
Yeah, we could use some money.
And they've told us, no, really lean into it when you get hit in the head with a chair. So maybe that's better than at least in football. At least in football, they gave those guys fucking helmets. You know what I mean? Like here, they were like,
hit
him with a coconut, which is what happened to Snuka, as we know. Unbelievable. So that is Jimmie Superfly Snuka's case. So as of right now, he is going to be, him and his pudding brain are in hospice care, and Nancy will never be avenged, we'll say. The poor victim of this.
Poor thing.
Her family, I feel bad for, too, because I know they were rooting.
They were
really excited to finally get justice, and not quite going to happen for them. Sorry out there to Nancy's family and Jimmie Superfly Snuka. Yeah, I don't know.
Good for you,
Salute,
bud.
asshole.
Congratulations.
Enjoy sitting in a puddle of your own piss for the next 6 months.
You dickhole.
You beat it, dickhead. Wow, great. Good for you. Now, let's get on to this week's
fantastic
Gentleman of the Week. And
I can't wait.
My goodness, this is a scary individual.
Yeah.
We've had like some guys that are like just stupid. Like Jerry Ryder's not scary. He's just an idiot.
He's just dumb as fuck.
That guy's a dumb shit. I'm not
He
afraid
didn't mastermind any crime.
No.
He just fucking committed crimes and then ran.
He just ran. He kept running.
Constantly
He's always running.
yeah.
Most of the time he's like hitting women, which is terrible, but he's not like a guy who,
It's not well thought out crimes to benefit himself in terms of fucking monetary gain or anything.
No, it was like, my girlfriend I want my money out of my girlfriend's purse. I'm going to shove her to the ground, grab it, and run away like a lunatic. Which is dangerous and an asshole, don't get me wrong, but it's not this level of danger that we have here.
Right.
This is a sick man. Remember Lee Murray a few episodes ago?
Huge hijack and taking all kinds of cash.
Yeah, an MMA fighter who was a scary individual, and this is that type of guy that we have today.
Awesome.
Another one of those. So it's going to be wild. It's a judo guy, actually.
Oh, really?
An Olympian.
He's
an Olympian, this man. So it's
Kerrigan, Brandon Kerrigan in Baltimore is he made the Olympics or almost made the Olympics or he has a
who is that again?
Brandon Kerrigan. He's the listener that lives in Baltimore.
Okay, Brandon. I don't know his first name. I was
He was an Olympic fighter in I think judo is what he said.
Really?
But his mom died and he had to skip the Olympics. He's got this kid's fucking life.
Interesting.
It's impressive that he's doing as well as he is. He's had a hell of a hand dealt to him. But anyway, he probably knows who this guy is. That's my point.
This guy, it is not impressive how well he's handling his life, this particular man. He has handled his life horribly. Horribly.
I love those guys.
They
keep this shit going.
He took his potential, he dropped it right in the toilet, and just not even a thought before he flushed it. Just watched it spin and right out to sea. No problem. Gone. See ya. It's James Waithe, everybody.
Right.
James Waithe. James Waithe was born December 30th, 1961 in Barbados.
Oh.
A nice little island, tropical. Beautiful, right?
Fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Exotic.
Exotic. It's gorgeous. You would stay there forever, right? Wouldn't you? I would. I mean,
I wouldn't leave.
I wouldn't leave. He left. He decided to go to the UK.
What?
So he said, you
got palm trees and coconuts and fucking sand beaches, and you're going to go somewhere where it's shit weather and bad teeth?
All this sunshine and bikinis. This is great, but I'm really just have a hankering for some boiled meat.
Right.
So I'm going to get on the soonest boat. I'm going to get on.
Why does boiled meat do that to me every time?
And I'm going to go
fucking
across the
chokes
ocean.
Me. That's hilarious.
I need my meat boiled. He's like,
boiled meat, spotted dick, and tea and crumpets. And I need to give some of my money to somebody to live in a castle and not do a goddamn thing. And all their kids and all their fucking brothers and sisters, everybody.
No, he moved. He said the allure of the boiled ham was too much for him, and it drew him across an ocean.
I need something that was boiled and then somebody jammed cloves in it.
Absolutely.
Gross.
That's what you
so
got.
Gross.
Enjoy. It's too much barbecue here. I really need everything.
Too many smoked, delicious things.
No, let's not do that. Put some clothes on. Put a sweater on. Never mind. I'm going to England.
I want somewhere with a scarf.
So he moved to England. He moved to England as a child.
Yeah.
He was in Bristol. Was his main place. He grew up in Bristol. He was in the Navy early on, actually. He was in the Royal Navy.
He's a hero.
So he's a naval guy. And it's funny, too, because some of the people he hooks up with later on were also Navy guys. So this is kind of a Navy-centric crime, these guys. Nothing to do with the water or anything to do with military, but I think maybe that's how they got together or how they met or whatever. So he's in the Navy. He gets into judo at an early age. Now, there is not a whole lot. This guy, I have to say one thing also. UK, whenever we do UK stories, I don't know what it is about your media. I know, like, in this story, none of the details came out about anything until after the case was concluded, because there's laws about, and it was said, like, now that the order's lifted, now that the court's case is over, we can unleash the details on you.
What?
So I don't know what it is, but your report, I know you have libel laws over there. There's all sorts of different shit, but I can't find the level of just getting up these guys' asses in the UK that they have here.
Maybe that explains why nobody knows what the fuck happened to Princess Di.
I'm telling you, here, if you were a backup offensive lineman at one for 5 minutes and you get 2 DUIs, I will find 100 articles on it.
We'll know all about it.
Your whole backstory, everything. This guy is a psychopath, and there's like barely anything on anything but his crimes.
That's
and
crazy.
Things. I really had to dig deep on this one. This one, Jesus, guys, we went hard on this one.
And
Patreon.com.
It never just starts.
No. It's so anyway, he gets into judo at an early age, okay? Now, so I'm not a big, like, I don't know the different martial arts, and I don't know how well everyone out there knows them.
I'm fucking in the dark.
I'm in the dark. I know they do them, and I know that that's whatever it is. So I had to look up and find out some shit about judo, because I'm like, is that karate? What is that? Is that kung fu, taekwondo? I don't fucking know anything.
And all that sounds the same to me.
Who knows? But this is, so I found out Judo is a newer martial art.
Okay.
It was created in 1882.
And that's new?
So that's newer compared to the martial arts, because, I mean, you have different ones that go back centuries and all that kind of thing.
When did hitting somebody with a beer bottle get patented? That's the one I fight.
I think it's the 70s. I think we're going with 73, I would say, on that one.
That's my style.
Actually, whenever they make cowboy movies, because in every cowboy movie, there'd be a fight that breaks out in the bar.
Somebody either breaks it on the bar or over someone's head.
They break it over someone's head, and then he falls and he hits the piano keys, and as he falls, it's like, and then he falls on the ground as he's trying to grab on it.
That's my fighting style.
Yeah, that's good. This one was created in Japan, in obviously, it's judo. It's kind of a Japanese thing.
Sounds right.
By a man named Kano Jigoro.
Of course it was.
Yeah, him. You know him. We all know Kano Jigoro. He's a hero to all of us. As a young boy in America, I grew up just with Kano pictures on my wall
everywhere.
all the time. Yeah, I had huge posters. It was awesome. Now, the object of this apparently is to take your opponent down or throw her or him down. Her.
I like that you throw her.
Well, they have women's judo. That's why I didn't want to be sexist here. They have women's judo. It's even in the Olympics. So.
But in the 1800s, that's why they created this stuff, is to throw women around.
So, maybe to toss them around. Actually, this is judo, as I'll get to here. It's I'll say in a second, but it's to throw them around and pin them or force a submission with a joint lock or chokehold. Is apparently how it works. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds like MMA a lot. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. It's because judo is said to be the basis of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is the main MMA fighting style. That's what you see in UFC. So this is kind of like super early UFC, 1882, with Kano, the first champion here. He's going to fight Anderson Silva at any time in 2008. So, it's basically... And this is why I say maybe it's not to fight women. It's not like a striking thing. It's
that's what it's for, then. In my opinion, that's why it was created.
It was created
I didn't
Japanese,
punch her, right? That's what it's for.
Japanese guys to toss women around. Japanese athlete assholes to toss women around. Assholes. So the central tenet of it, though, is maximum efficiency. That's the central tenet, not maximum efficiency, minimal effort. That's what they say. It is called, I guess, judo translates to the gentle way, which is really ironic considering what the fuck this guy did later on. And when we get into this, he is anything but gentle, this man. Here is a quote about judo. This is like from the origins of judo. I don't know if there's an ancient judo book that they go into that's scrawled in blood that they get this shit off of, but it's like the Necronomicon for judo. It says, quote, resisting a more powerful opponent will result in your defeat, whilst adjusting and evading your opponent's attack will cause him to lose his balance, his power will be reduced, and you will defeat him. So it's all that. They come at you. Strategy. You go back a little. You pull. It's whatever. It's like a hand-to-hand type.
It's using the center of gravity to try to force them to be weaker, and then
exactly.
You win.
You're using balance. You're using things like that.
Sounds like a rape technique.
It sounds a little bit, but the point is for weaker opponents to be able to beat more powerful ones. Right. So it's actually the opposite. It's actually a good thing maybe for like
smaller guys,
a woman to learn to be able to defend herself, to use an aggressive man if they try to attack you to be able to
keep from
gently
disable your rapist.
Gently disable your rapist. By the way, if someone is trying to rape you, you don't have to be gentle.
Don't be gentle
do
at all.
You gotta do.
Rip his cock off.
If this is the way that you know, then do this. But then when he's down, rip his cock off. Let's do that.
Castrate somebody.
So James is a badass judo man. He is a 6th Dan in judo, which I looked all this up. Jesus, I really had to get deep into martial arts and the Olympics later on. You'll see it's crazy. And British street crime. It's wild. So his 6th Dan is like, that's the black belt level, I guess. It goes black, and then you go to these dans, and there's different, like 6th Dan, 7th Dan, 8th Dan, 9th Dan, and they had on the internet a list of all of the like 10th Dans that have ever existed.
Fascinating.
So there's only like 12 of them. So I mean, it's not to get that high so he's pretty damn high up in the ranking.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, it's like a black belt or like a red and white belt too. You could use. I don't know. I looked up this system. It's crazy.
Is Dan a Japanese name? Japanese word?
I have no clue.
Obviously, it's not a Japanese name.
It's not Japanese.
It's short for Daniel. It's in the Bible. That's what it's for. But
it might be like Dan might mean belt in Japan. I have no idea. That might be.
Keep saying Dan, and I just keep thinking of this dude I know. That's all.
Yeah, I keep thinking of like a dude with freckles that drinks too much. That's it. That's all
cleans pools or some shit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the guy, Jimmie.
Dan.
You know that guy.
He's a 6th Dan.
He goes out with Carrie, right? From last week that we named? I think so. Go back and listen last week to poor Carrie, the cheerleader. So he comes up, and I mean, he's born in 61. He makes the Olympics in 88.
Really?
Makes the 88 Olympic team. And that's the only thing I know about him is that he moved. He was in the Navy. And these are all things I didn't even find in actual media or articles. I was looking deep in comment streams of kung fu or of judo forums, like judo message boards.
And they're still talking about Waithe?
There's ones from 5-6 years ago.
Really?
So, I mean, I'm reading, this is where I spent days looking through judo message boards to see if anybody knew him, had some information.
Super fun.
It was a dream of mine, Jimmy. It was a dream.
Your face is leaking.
I was sick as a dog just being like, what is he doing
Fuck
now?
Waithe.
So, yeah. And out of all of this, I found out that he's from Barbados, was in the Navy, and he's got a brother Frank.
Oh.
And literally the brother Frank.
I wish his name was Dan.
Me too. Oh, that'd be great. Oh, please be Dan. His brother Frank took me, I would say, 3 hours to find out he had a brother named Frank.
Wow.
Where I sat there for 3 hours reading through shit and finally went, oh, he's got a brother Frank. Success of the day, I guess.
I found something.
And that was only because deep in a judo forum message board, somebody said they knew of James, but they knew his brother Frank very well.
Gotcha.
And that his brother Frank apparently dressed like an 80s guy in the 2000s. He still dressed like he said, think Michael Jackson Thriller video.
Eesh, like fishnet and shit.
So I'm
terrible.
Jerry curl, leather jacket, that sort of thing. That's what I'm looking at. So that made me laugh right there to know that about Frank. I know more about Frank than his early life, but
He's his Tito, and he embraces it.
He's okay with it. He's like, it's fine. I'll be Tito.
I'll just start looking like him.
Fuck it. Goddamn Tito fro. I'll be fucking Jermaine and Tito. I don't need shit from you.
I'll combine them.
So the 1988 Olympics he gets involved with here.
All right.
What he's doing, obviously. The 88 Olympics were in Seoul, South Korea.
And he's fighting for the UK.
He is fighting for Barbados.
Oh,
actually.
how about that?
He's fighting for Barbados. Yes, okay. I don't think Barbados has a lot of high-level
I imagine there's two
Olympic judo fighters. So he's probably hot shit on the island. Now
it's Waithe and some guy named Dan.
Someday there's Dan, or maybe his brother Frank is involved with his Jerry curl. He enters the ring or whatever in his red leather Michael Jackson jacket with his sleeves rolled up.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. Jesus, can't get through a metal detector. This guy. So the 88 Olympics were an interesting one. I was looking up a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of political turmoil in the 88 Olympics. Well, the 80 and the 84 Olympics, there's a lot of boycotts. Okay. Remember, we boycotted, the 80 Olympics?
Where were they at?
The U.S.
Was that in Germany?
The 80 Olympics were they in Moscow? Is that why we boycotted? I believe the 80 Olympics were in Moscow. That's why we boycotted.
That'd be a reason to boycott those.
And then the 84 Olympics in Los Angeles, a bunch of the communist countries boycotted that.
Right.
So East Germany and all that. Yes, there used to be two Germanys back in the day. So there's a lot of political boycott. All of this going on. And since the games were in South Korea, everybody thought that was a good time. They wanted North Korea to participate. Because I don't care if you don't know anything about politics or the world. You've heard North Korea is
a piece of shit.
It's just they're living in their own cave. Yeah. They made a cave and they're all sitting in it,
and
basically.
And they're enjoying it.
And they like it. And
as far as we know.
Yeah, at least the government likes it a lot.
The 80 Olympics were definitely in Moscow. Go on.
So, they were trying to draw these people. Thank you. They were trying to draw the North Koreans. And for some reason, they've been assholes.
Why do they want them anywhere?
I don't them all. It's weird because the Korean War was in the early 50s, and this was 35 years later, and I feel like they were still well, maybe we can all get along. I feel like it was one of those.
Forgive and forget.
We're still doing it then. Now it's just fuck them. They're crazy. We don't even care. We gave up.
Eat shit.
So they had these big meetings in Switzerland in January of 1986 between North and South Korea.
It's a good place to negotiate anything.
Very neutral.
Yes.
The North was unreasonable, of course. They wanted 11 of the 23 sports to be played in the North. They wanted 11 of these 23 sports to take place in their territory, which is ridiculous. Also wanted special opening and closing ceremonies based on them, and also
where they get to nuke the South.
They get to nuke. Their whole thing always is we're gonna, I guess, nuke them into us being a united Korea.
Right.
That's what they want always. We're really off the reservation here, but just stick with it for a second. Don't worry.
Hang tight.
The North
Give some world history in this shit.
Come on, guys. The North Koreans wanted a united team. That was their thing too. They wanted to put a Korea team out there, not just South and North. They wanted it to be a united team
because they want to win, and probably the South has a little more education and training and all this shit.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the North has been trying to force reconciliation on the South since Alan Alda was walking around, fucking with his mop top. That's what they've been doing there.
And the North is just really good at badminton or some shit.
They probably have like one weird skill.
Yeah, some strange sport that nobody gives a fuck about.
Not very athletic, that sort of thing, because they have no nutrition over there. This isn't a Korean joke. They're all 5'2", and 120 pounds because they haven't eaten in 3 days. So that's why.
They're all starving.
So the North was offered half of their desired events, and they said, fuck you, we boycott.
Okay.
And they were, at the moment, they thought the only country in the world that was going to boycott, and also for some reason Madagascar boycotted.
Well, that's because they couldn't field the team in anything.
I feel like
they're famous for a fucking cartoon movie that came out in 2008 now.
And hissing roaches.
And hissing cockroaches. That's it. The rest of it is just bullshit.
Horrible insects. Right. That's what it is, too.
Chris Rock fucking voiced a zebra for your country.
Do you think that's why they did it, too? You think they boycotted because they were like, we can't field teams. Now, we can either just tell everyone, hey, sorry, we don't have it, or we can just be like, no, we are standing up against this. Let's
throw a crate of hissing cockroaches on a basketball court? That's not going to win. They ain't going to do it.
No. And I think once North Korea boycotted, they were like, we'll just do it right under them in their wake, and no one will notice. It's cool. We can just throw it right out there.
We look like we're standing our ground on something.
So I was reading so much about this whole turmoil of this, and it's in a 1987 newspaper, the Gettysburg Times from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Great place.
Reading all of this out of this old newspaper, and I was, surprised by all the Korean things, and I'm like, God, this is crazy. It's still going on now. That was surprising, but not as surprising. Not as surprising as the sales, Jimmy. The sales that I found in 1987 at the Hitching Post. It's a clothing store.
Yeah.
They're having an 18th anniversary sale.
Oh, boy.
They're not waiting until 20,
what
guys.
Year was this?
They're 87.
87, they're throwing it. Maybe
they're not waiting until 20.
Right.
I feel like they were on their way
saw
out.
the books, and they knew that shit was closing before the 19th.
Let's have an 18th celebrate. And July 9th, 10th, 11th, and 13th of 1987. Make sure to be there, guys.
Because they close on Sundays.
They're closed on Sundays. You get 30% off swimsuits, knit tops, handbags, and sleepwear.
Oh, boy.
Half off skirts, slacks, dresses, and, quote, odds and ends, whatever the fuck that is. But you get half off that. So excited. It's so exciting, but I don't know if I can make it on July 10th, 1987, because I am going to be at the Chambersburg Mall in Gettysburg, because there's a huge magic show that I can't wait to see. You can see WAYZ's Stacey Drake get sawed in half.
Oh, boy.
So, holy shit.
I hope that guy made a mistake.
I'm going to be there. So I'll be attending the 9th, 11th, and 13th Hitching Post sales days, but not the 10th. I really got to get to the Chambersburg Mall.
Fucking gear.
Unless the Hitching Post is in the Chambersburg Mall, then I'm just taking a tent.
I'll bet it is. I can't imagine in Gettysburg there's much more than one mall.
I'm taking a tent. I'll be there all weekend. So just Thursday to Monday.
Get you some World War I or
it's all
Civil
good.
War. It's all Civil War shit.
Oh, that's all it is, probably.
Yeah.
It's probably
all Civil War themed fucking slacks.
Now, the 88 Olympics was actually an interesting one just because there's a lot of people who are still famous that competed in the 88 Olympics.
Really?
You had Florence Griffith Joyner, FloJo.
Yeah.
Everybody knows FloJo. FloJo won 2 gold medals back then. Carl Lewis, that's when he was winning his gold medals. Greg Louganis, the AIDS-ridden swimmer.
Yeah.
He's well, what else do you want to call him? He's an AIDS-ridden swimmer.
You just threw that in so nonchalant.
What do we know about him?
You know,
swimmer, AIDS. AIDS-ridden swimmer. Done. Dismissed. We only have like an hour 45
Bye,
here,
Greg.
Bye, Greg. Sorry to break your whole entire life into 3 words, but you know what? I do a lot of research.
Medal that year?
He was won a gold that year.
Yeah, good for him.
Gold. And Ray Mercer also won gold in boxing.
Yeah.
He was a boxer later on. Michael Carbajal won the silver.
No shit.
Michael Carbajal, a little tiny boxer who I saw him give one of the best street ass kickings ever on surveillance video of a Phoenix gas station in the early 90s.
Yeah.
You remember that? See that in the news?
Yeah.
Some guy tried to fight him, and this guy, Carbajal must have hit him 14 times before the guy even knew what the hell was going on.
Let's go.
He just lit him up like a Christmas tree.
Did you forget that I fought in the Olympics, sir?
Yeah, and he weighs like 110 pounds.
Yeah, he's so little.
I think the other guy was like, look at this little shit.
Look at this pussy.
And this guy, Carbajal lit him up like a Christmas tree, man. It was awesome. It was one of those street beatings where you're like, here's an aggressor, and oh my, here's somebody putting him right down. You like to see the aggressor.
Some street justice.
Absolutely. Also, who won silvers that year? Roy Jones, the boxer. Also, all boxers here. Roy Jones, Riddick Bowe.
Oh, no shit.
We'll be getting into at some point.
Fantastic.
Don't worry. He had a bit of a breakdown at one point.
He was kind of a dick.
We're going to be doing an episode on him. I'll tell you that right now. And Lennox Lewis, also of Canada, was a silver medalist that year. We all know Lennox Lewis, the wonderful British accent on him.
He's from Canada, huh?
He's a Canadian,
How
apparently.
about that? I
He was
didn't know
born
that.
there. The Olympics are...
We just learned something.
We did. We did.
The more you know.
The United States basketball team that year. This is pre-Dream Team.
Yeah.
This is the one that made them go, fuck this. We're getting Michael Jordan. We're getting. I'm not doing this anymore. We're getting Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley. This is bullshit because we won the bronze that year
with Stacey
US.
Augmon.
With Stacey Augmon, Hershey Hawkins, Dan Marley, Danny Manning, Mitch Richmond, Charles Smith, and David Robinson. Actually, when he was
one
in
starter,
college.
the rest of them are sixth men.
The rest of them are a bunch of a bunch of like decent sixth men in the NBA in the 90s.
NBA, they're a bunch of scrubs that just got in, and they're like, send those guys so we can continue playing our season.
A lot of second-tier shooting guards on that, I gotta say.
No
a lot
doubt.
of small forwards and shit like that. It's an odd thing here.
I feel like they were being nice that they weren't just going to dunk on everybody.
Yeah, I don't think they could, really. I don't think it was possible. I don't think they could. I don't think they could. They were like, give it to David Robinson. We know he can dunk. Also, Charles Smith also is another guy we'll end up
that
talking
guy's
about.
great.
Because he also committed a bunch of crimes that we'll get
Charles
into.
Smith did?
Charles Smith. And I
Get out of here.
I think it's the same Charles Smith because there's two Charles Smiths.
Really?
And one of them's a criminal and one of them isn't. So that'll be another great mistaken identity.
Who was the second one? Because the next guy, he was the criminal, right?
Yeah, he was the criminal. And there was another one, like a lower level guy, but he was still an NBA player. Because they go like, one's like Charles E. Smith.
I didn't realize Charles Smith did that.
And also in the 88 Olympics, they had different kinds of, the way they did it, they had medal sports, which sports you can win medals in, which were boxing, volleyball, gymnastics, diving, things like dressage horses.
Fuck is that?
That's those horses that dance around.
You medal for that shit?
That's a medal sport.
How the fuck do you medal?
A medal. I don't know. They
make it trot and put a fucking a bed sheet around
and
it.
And then they pin it to the horse's forehead. Here, you won. Have that. I guess. I don't know.
Best in show or some shit?
Ping pong is a table tennis. And judo. Men's judo.
Really?
Women's judo is what they call a demonstration sport, which is they have it, but I guess you don't win shit. They just go,
women. What
good
is
job.
That?
They go, good job, and they send you back to your country.
You won't get raped. Go home.
Those sports are badminton, baseball, bowling, taekwondo, and wheelchair racing.
Wheelchair racing.
I didn't know they had wheelchair racing in the Olympics.
Do you have to be wheelchair ridden to fucking do it?
Know, or
that'd
can you
be
just
great.
Be a guy
if
be like
you're just
training
fucking
in a
amazing on a wheelchair.
It's like, dude, I'm ripped.
Have you seen my arms? It's crazy. I can do so many things.
All those years of not doing legs paid off. It paid off for me. Everybody said you're going to do legs, you're going to look stupid.
All the creatine I drank, all the bench pressing.
Guns.
I will flip over a wheelchair.
Guns. But men's judo was a medal sport here. And the judo events took place from September 24th to October 1st at the Changchung Gymnasium, which sounds like a terrible Asian joke. It sounds like someone would go, hey, where's the judo taking place? Like, it's in the Changchung Gymnasium.
Fuck out of here.
Whatever them slants are doing over there. I don't know, something. Hey, get the hell out of here.
Sounds like a name that they gave fucking Joe Son in one of his movies.
Racist. Yeah. You're Chang Chung. Get in there and fight that guy. Go ahead. Stand next to Dolph Lundgren until he needs you. Awful. So Waithe was a middleweight. This was middleweight. This was under 100 kilograms. Was the? I think that's about 220.
What's the conversion?
I think a kilogram is 2.2 pounds.
Americans are so dumb. I have no fucking idea. Kilogram sounds fucking heavy.
It's 2.2 pounds. So 100 pounds would be 220. So he's probably around a 200.
That's a big fucking guy.
He's a big guy. Yeah, he's a big scary man. The gold was won by Peter Sensenbacher of Austria, which sounds like an Austrian man, and the silver by Vladimir Shestakov of the Soviet Union.
And if he didn't win, he'd just shoot you.
And he would have been shot probably in '88 in the Soviet Union. They would have taken him home and shot him. We all remember when Dolph Lundgren lost? It didn't look like things were going to go well for him in Rocky IV.
Looks kind of bad.
Looked like, oh shit, we might not see Dolph anymore. Dolph should move to Philadelphia.
He might take a 22 behind the ear.
That's very possible.
He should move to Philadelphia.
He should move to Philadelphia with Rocky. They're a lot more supportive of their athletes there. Come on.
They are.
Jesus, they supported Rocky. They'll support you, Dolph.
They did in real life. That's how fucked up that is.
This is 3 straight episodes with Dolph Lundgren talk. What the hell is going on? We're giving Dolph more pub than he's ever got.
He's got great hair.
He was in the Expendables, I guess. So Waithe in the Olympics here. I watched his one match is on YouTube, actually. It's 25 seconds, the YouTube clip.
Really?
I have no idea what's going on. None.
That's so great. Is he standing at the end?
No, well, basically, he's fighting a guy named Liu Junlin of China.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, you should really, come on, you're from Barbados, you're going to beat Liu Junlin of China in judo? I don't think so.
No.
Especially at the Chang Chung Gymnasium.
Right.
This is his home court,
Liu's life is on the line. If he loses, he has to take a sword to the gut. He's not going to lose.
And he's on his home court. Right. So, no, it's not going to happen.
He's on his home court.
He's like, Chang Chung, I should win this. I should win this. So they basically, in this video, they lock up. And they kind of wrestle around a little bit while standing, and they're both going for positioning. Yeah. And it looks like they're just hanging out in a kind of hugging each other. Yeah. It looks very sweet and gentle, honestly. And then Jun Lin takes Waithe down. It looks like he had his leg behind his leg and kind of tripped him over and dumped him. And they went outside the square. I don't know what that is, but there's this big giant square. They went outside of that, and apparently that means Jun Lin won. That means Jun Lin won, I guess. I don't know. That's what happened.
I like that you're calling him Jun.
Jun Lin. He looked happy. There was a thing over there that said he won with a throw, with a T. It said throw, and so he got 10 points for that. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Wild.
But, it looked like two fifth graders fighting. Is what it looked like. If you see children when they fight, they just kind of both get in a headlock and they wrestle around until one of them falls down and they noogie each other. Right. That's what it was like. Without if Jun Lin got on top of him and gave him a noogie, I would have said, "Oh my God, it's his older brother." Holy shit, it's his older brother. He's 2 years older. Yeah. He's a little stronger,
and now they're best friends.
And he can take him down. So so Waithe does not medal in the Olympics. But it was a huge deal just to go to the Olympics, obviously, as we know, and especially for Barbados, which wasn't they might have good athletes there, but I mean, you don't see, all the Barbados people are winning gold medals. Right. That never happens. So I don't know. Early 2000s, he becomes the sensei. Mm-hmm. In 2001, he becomes the sensei at a gym in Bristol. It is the Bristol Judo Club, University of Bristol Judo Club. He's the sensei there in 2001. So in England and in Bristol. So you can go and get trained by a badass Olympian judo fighter. So why not? You know what I mean? That makes sense. I would do that if I was him.
If I want to fight that, that's where I'm going to go talk to. That's the guy.
Absolutely. Has his first brush with the law in the early 2000s here.
Fantastic.
He is convicted.
Whoa.
This is so weird.
That's not a brush.
No, this is what I mean. Wait till you hear what it's for. It's beyond a brush. And this is not in the news at all. I literally had to find this through. It took me Patreon.com/crime and sports. Jesus Christ. I know nothing about judo and this, and I really got deep this week, man. So he is convicted of assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and arson.
Whoa.
Arson. Yeah. He claimed that a man damaged his car, so he punched him. That's what he claims.
Where's the fire, sir?
But Waithe claims that someone else must have firebombed the man's house later. I don't know anything about that. I beat him up for damaging the car, but fire bombs, who knows?
I have no idea.
A normal guy.
I didn't follow him home to know where he lives or...
Coincidence. Yeah. Normal guy, never has any trouble until this guy beats him up and then his home gets firebombed. So, so he was convicted of these things because that's ridiculous.
Are crazy.
That's awesome. These British fighters, man, that's
they
some
don't
shit.
Fuck around.
Lee Murray didn't do that.
No.
This guy is not fucking about, people. He's not. No. Lee Murray wouldn't set anybody on fire, set any houses on fire. And that's the tip. This is nothing compared to what he does. He's a hard-ass, evil motherfucker, this guy.
Jesus.
He's a hard son of a bitch. Now, while this is going on, this is in the early 2000s, he is still allowed to compete in the 2006 Commonwealth Games, the Commonwealth Judo Championships. The English Commonwealth Games are basically an intra-squad scrimmage between the members of the British Empire, basically. Okay. So it's all the ones that always compete, that have been in all of these games, are England, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Scotland, Wales.
Okay.
They've been in everything, and then they have a few others once in a while when their empire, they have a colony and then they don't. So some of them, I'm sure maybe India was in it back in the day, and now they're not so much anymore.
And after Brexit, it's just going to be them.
It's just going to be them. Just them. That's it, standing there. Right. Well, they still have their empire. It's just the rest of Europe they're cutting off with here. This takes place at Derry City, England, I guess. James wins the gold for England.
Derry City, did they take our advice and they're now dating the city and they're drinking milk?
No calcium. Derry. They're like, nope, screw calcium. We don't need it. Our legs are snapping left and right. So James wins the gold for England in the male 40 to 44 years old, under 100 kilograms class. Okay. So that's the middleweight class. Fights take place from June 16th to 18th, 2006. In these Commonwealth Games, by the way, Australia has the highest has been the highest scoring team the most out of all this. They've beaten England 12 times.
Because they got no guns over there, so they're fighting like a motherfucker. So they're figuring out how to be tough without them.
Absolutely. So they're 12 times for them, 7 times for England, and once for Canada.
Fascinating.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know what those were, so I had to look them up.
I'm shocked Canada won anything.
Yeah, really. Well, they had Lennox Lewis back in the day. So James fights David McSkimming of Scotland, which sounds like a very Scottish-British name.
McSkimming.
David McSkimming.
Sounds easy. It sounds like something that is on the McDonald's menu.
It does.
McSkimming. I'll have a McSkimming.
Have the McSkimming, please.
It sounds like the low-fat coffee. Can I have a McSkimming?
It's just the shit they skim off the top of it, and it's top of milk.
I want a low-fat coffee latte. It's called a McSkimming, sir.
McSkimming, yes. Okay, give me one of those. He beats Mr. McSkimming in 1 minute and 5 seconds with a throw, it says. That's the only records we have of how he won. It's a throw. Then he beats Derek Hopkins in 36 seconds with a throw to win the gold. So, yeah, good for him.
He wins.
He's a badass.
He's a champion.
Point. And he's, 45 years old. And he's still kicking ass.
Wow.
I mean, that's, or 44 because he didn't turn 45 yet, apparently.
Right.
But, yeah, so what he's doing then, he's fighting and he's doing a couple other things. Mm-hmm. We'll get into the one thing he's doing that's his main activity, but he's also a teacher.
Oh.
He's a teacher. Get him around the kids.
Yeah.
Let's really get him involved with the kids. He teaches PE, physical education, and citizenship.
That's where all the weirdos.
He is convicted of beating a man and firebombing his home. Let's teach him citizenship.
Kids how to be a good citizen.
At Withy Wood Community School. You guys, go ahead and the pronunciation. I don't know how to say that. Withy Woods Community School.
Tweet that shit at us.
I'm trying. I got judo shit. I got Japanese, Chinese, Chen Chong Gymnasium.
Withy Wood.
I'm doing my best here, guys. This is way too many international names and sounds for me.
And by the way, PE teacher is that's perfect. It's perfect because that's where all the scumbags are.
Yeah, and this is I guess it's ages 11 through 18. So it's like if you put like 6th grade through
fucking
the end.
The end of high school.
You remember your middle school gym teacher, Jimmy?
He's a weirdo, Coach Smith.
He's a weirdo and a bit of they're all weirdos. Yeah, that's why they're coaching middle school gym. Like that's
he called us all by our last name and said it like Michael Buffer. Like he was so loud, like Whisman. Like
at least he got your name right. My 10th grade gym teacher.
He'd just call you Jimmy. Jimmy P.
He called me Pietragallo all year. It's a whole year. Pietragallo.
Oh,
hey, Pietragallo. So that's not my name. That's not even close, as a matter of fact.
You have not won, sir.
He was a psychopath, though.
Spelling bee was not for you.
He had calves the size of tree trunks, and he'd make us run the track. And I had gym first period, and I grew up in New York, so
oh my god! And then you had to go the rest of the day smelling like shit.
Well, there's days where it's literally 11 degrees outside, and he's like, "We're gonna run 3 miles."
7 a.m., 11 degrees. Best of luck, Pietragallo.
I have a parka on, and everything else. All the kids are bundled.
A fucking parka.
A parka.
That's
so
hysterical.
He is wearing tiny, like workout football coach shorts.
See his fucking balls.
Running backwards the whole time, talking shit to us. Talking shit to us the whole time. Like that's a gym teacher.
So great.
That's a psych. I feel like this is the type of gym teacher this guy was. He's like,
so
what are you
good.
doing? And he like take you down to a throw and fucking put his foot on your throat.
Coach Smith from Shea Middle School is a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, so he's doing that, but he's also doing something else. Okay, now 2007 in the Bristol area, there was a lot of drug activity, a lot of drugs, and one family kind of ran the whole deal in this little area. It was the Pierce family.
Sounds tough.
There's several of the Pierces. There's the main guy who is Justin Pierce. He's kind of the kingpin of the whole operation. Okay. And then there is his father, 57-year-old Philip Pierce, at the time 57, and his 2 years younger brother Jamie, who ran this. And then there was another guy, Ben Sherwood, who was kind of their associate. But the Pierce family were running the drug trade at that point. And they were doing well for themselves. So well, the police needed to put together an operation to figure them out.
Really?
They had a named operation. Operation Marin was him, was going after the Pierce family. It's just a long investigation, basically. They really look into everything. It leads to raids in May, okay? And these raids, we can look at these numbers and then we'll compare them to later.
Okay.
It's an escalation, okay? This is the Pierce gang here. They raid on Justin Pierce, who was the leader, netted 3.5 kilograms of cocaine.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of cocaine. 3/4 of a kilo of MDMA to
Oh,
make
boy.
ecstasy. And these guys were making ecstasy.
Wow.
They had pill pressing machines.
Really?
I'll get into the scale of this.
That's impressive.
It's an impressive operation. And the next operation's even more impressive. But yeah, they had industrial pill making equipment, large amounts of cutting agents, heat sealing devices. I mean, they had a real operation here going. This was no shit. They were making shit ready for market, ready to go. Also, like a dozen packages that contain cocaine mixed with caffeine and lidocaine. I don't know what they were doing with that. Just those dozen packs that they had of that were worth 200,000 pounds.
Wow.
So that it was serious shit. And that was just in the one guy's house.
Right.
Also had a Walther PPK gun, which is a James Bond gun, I guess. And 3 rounds of ammo.
Oh, boy.
Whoa, England.
That man's he's really going to fucking put a hole in something.
3 rounds of ammo.
He's going to put a hole in 3 something.
It's just so, it's just so funny because
3 rounds of ammo. There was more somewhere else. There had to be.
We're just trying to make it so people can't have clips with 40 fucking rounds in them at once. And they're like, he had 3 rounds of ammunition. He must be stopped. Like, wow.
Did they check the chamber? Maybe he had 4.
He might have had 4. I don't even think they were in the gun. Like, I feel like he had one like under his pillow.
They were in his pockets.
He had one like in the pocket of a shirt in his closet, so nobody would. He hid them in 3 different locations around the house just in case he needed them.
He was a safe gun owner.
He was a very safe gun owner. Yes, he had a safe and everything. So May 2007, 3 other homes are raided in this time. One is listed as, quote, on the Quays, which is the location. I guess the Quays is probably a river, I'm thinking, or something like that. And on one on Cumberland Road and one on East Dundry Road. So if you're a local in the UK, you might know where those are. Yeah. Large amounts of cocaine were found in all of these addresses, and all of them are linked to high-ranking members, all the different addresses. It was like one guy's place that he owned, one guy's place.
Maybe there was a bullet at all 3 places.
That's probably that's what he did. He had one in each. He's like, you know what? I'm going to cover my bases.
I got to defend the homeland.
I have to defend it against one person, and I better be really
I'm a
accurate.
Crack shot. That's what it is. I'm amazing
one
with this
bullet.
gun.
Carries it in his shirt pocket. Like, that's all I need. One. Hey, look at this, buddy. And people just go, hey, all right.
Listen, all right, I get it. You got 1 bullet. That's all you need.
Takes
right between the eyes. I understand.
Shows it to him. They also had an industrial scale factory at a business location in Keynsham. We'll call it Keynsham. I don't know. Whatever.
Keynsham.
I'm doing my best.
Whatever.
The searching of a van they had there uncovered a bunch of cocaine, masks, mixing bowls, respirators, face masks, and a rifle. You got to have that. But also they had like a New Jack City, drug assembly line set up there also. A New Jack City.
And one rifle to defend it all.
I'm sure I'm picturing women topless with the New Jack City. That's whenever I picture drug factory, I just picture New Jack City because that's the only real reference of it I have. So anyway, Justin Pierce, the leader of this gang, ends up getting 20 years in prison out of this whole thing.
Out of all of that?
Out of all of that, he gets 20 years. His dad, Philip, gets 11 years. His brother, Jamie, gets 3 years for his role, along with 17 other members of the crew who are all given 3 to 5 years each.
All right.
So they took down this Pierce gang.
I see Justin and Philip as being like linchpins, like tough dudes. And then they got this little douchebag, this little idiot named Jamie. That's why he got no time.
Come on, Jamie. Let's go.
They were just like, he knows too much. We have to give him a job.
He was only involved because the father made Justin take him with him. He's like, take Jamie with you.
Take your brother.
I'm not taking Jamie with you. He knows nothing about cocaine.
Jamie's an idiot.
No, I'm not letting him carry one
I
of the
told him
bullets.
to get me Coke, and he brought me a goddamn Coke.
He's not allowed to carry one of the bullets. No, I'm keeping all 3 of them. He can't have any. No, you can have one, but not Jamie. He's an idiot. Sorry, I'm not doing it.
Fucking Jamie.
So while this is going on, James is starting to dip his nose into this drug industry, and we'll find out how in a second. But he's also teaching PE at another school. He's teaching PE at the Bristol Gateway Special School, which is a school for special needs children.
Perfect.
He's teaching special needs children.
Perfect.
So you can't
He's a special
get any
ed
more
teacher.
of a dichotomy.
Special ed, physical ed teacher.
Unbelievable. The school offers regular courses for special needs kids. It's ages 11 through 16. There's only 80 students in this school. It's a very small school, very tiny, 80-student capacity. In 2014, the school was awarded the, quote, Youth Sports Trust Gold Mark partner status award.
Because of him?
No, definitely not because of him. In spite of, if anything.
All right.
But apparently they had a good sports program for the special needs kids, so that sounds like a really nice place, and good for him for working there.
Yeah.
Problem was, he was also doing other things. Now,
of course.
Back into the Pierces.
Teachers don't make enough money.
No, I don't know. Yeah, especially a PE teacher. I don't think they're demanding much.
No.
August 1st, 2007, Justin Pierce, our ringleader of the Pierces, his pregnant girlfriend, Lee Murphy, is seen going
That's
to
a girl?
That's a girl. Lee Murphy or Leah Murphy. It's who knows how they were. I think it's Leah. We'll go with Leah.
She better be hot as fuck with that shitty name.
Leah Murphy, the pregnant girlfriend of a drug lord here, was seen going into a Machine Mart store in Lawrence Hill. The Machine Mart specializes in industrial equipment and garage type things here. Also, really, one thing they have is large hydraulic presses that you need to process cocaine.
And you can pick that up at Machine Mart.
Pick that up at Machine Mart, and she does. Leah Murphy orders a 15-ton hydraulic press.
Whoa.
And gives the couple's home address for delivery.
Perfect.
So the cops are like, well, that's kind of obvious.
Well,
They're
now we know where it goes.
Yeah, Operation Marin. They're keeping an eye on her anyways. They're like, oh, good. They're leading us right to it. Police raid the place. They seize 280,000 pounds worth of cocaine.
Wow.
That was being processed.
That was ready to be pressed.
Yeah, old Leah Murphy would go to jail pregnant, received 7 years in jail for this.
Wow.
Under the new operation, which is Operation Malsters. That's what they started once they put the Pierces in jail. They started that's like the cleanup operation to get all the rest of these idiots. Also, there's a guy named Julian Norman who was given 5 years for that bust, too, because he was there. I don't know who the hell he was, but he was involved.
Yep.
Now, in February of 2008, Pierce was in jail at this point, but he snuck in a cell phone, Justin Pierce, and setting up another huge cocaine operation.
What the fuck?
He's like, well, they busted all that. Let me get this re-going from jail.
I got several years to figure this out.
Yeah, moved his processing operation to Devon and raised up like new lieutenants, basically, including a guy named Aaron Cowie and Mark Herbert were his new lieutenants. So he's trying to bring other people into this.
Yeah.
But the cops, they keep going on them. And February 28th, this new thing that he set up, this new big operation, gets busted.
Jesus.
When police stop a BMW on the M5 leaving Bristol, they find 500,000 pounds worth of cocaine in the car.
He did all this from prison.
From prison, he was putting this together, which is amazing because I can't do shit.
I know.
Free.
I can't. Right. I got to leave my house to go to a fucking job every day.
I was scared I was going to die this week because I was sick and I don't have any goddamn health insurance. Literally, I'm sitting
this
here going.
This fucking guy is behind bars.
Yeah.
And he's got a BMW out there packed with cocaine.
Packed with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I'm literally going. If I could die if this gets worse. I could literally just drop dead.
2 children. What the fuck are they going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to be dead from a cold, and this is what happens here. It's ridiculous. So anyway, they find all this stuff, 500,000 pounds worth of cocaine. This earned all these new lieutenants like Cowie and Herbert that we just mentioned. They got 8-year and 5-year sentences. Yep. Some of the members flipped on the gang. You know how they do.
Yeah.
You know, you bust a drug gang, you're going to get 20% of them are going to just go along with it.
Just start singing.
Absolutely. So basically, at this point, they get into the details of it, and a guy named Stephen Meek of Cadbury Gardens in Cadbury Heath.
That sounds beautiful.
That sounds like candy, and I want to eat it. Cadbury Heath? Those are two candy names.
Green plants everywhere. That's beautiful.
Those are two chocolate names.
There's vines going up fucking pillars there.
I want Cadbury chocolate now. Cadbury
There's
and
a
Heath.
chocolate water fountain. I guarantee you that whole town is like the fucking Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Guys, that Cadbury chocolate, I'm telling you, like the caramellos and the Cadbury eggs, it's like all milky and
so
smooth.
good.
It's so good. England, thank you for your wonderful chocolate.
It drips down your throat.
It's delicious.
So
that
good.
is disgusting. I don't think we should be saying
welcome.
that. Stephen Meek Pierce called him his banker, basically, and this is a shitty banker. Meek would take money to someone who Pierce called his banker named Jason Brown, who was basically a broke guy who let them keep money in the house.
Okay.
Nice banker you got there. That's excellent. And so Meek would go down. They would pay Meek $500 a trip to go. He would take the money, go pick it up, and go drop it off to whoever he needed to drop it off to get the cocaine. Now, a guy named Neil Martin of Harewood Road in Speedwell was jailed for a year for money laundering also.
Oh.
So they had a money laundering. They had a whole
system.
They had a whole system here. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. They only accuse Martin of keeping cash in his kitchen for 2 hours.
Okay.
That's what they accuse this Neil Martin of. He gets a year for money laundering.
But he kept it in his house for an hour? 2 hours?
The police only accuse him of keeping money in his house for 2 hours.
And he gets a year for that.
How the fuck would you get caught only having it there for 2 hours? Well, his stepson. This is not stepson behavior. This is junior behavior right here. His stepson incriminated him by taking pictures of the cash with his phone and was sending it out to everybody.
What
an
asshole.
So the police found that and
fucking
gets this guy a year in prison. Thanks. You know you're just so mad at your wife.
We are rappers. Stop it.
That goddamn kid of yours. I swear to God.
Fuck your kid. Your kid's an idiot.
Yeah.
He took a picture of the cat. Well, you've never seen money before, you dickhead?
And he was sending him around. It's like, yeah, that's gonna end badly. Yeah. I think that's not great.
People are going to have some questions, you fucking dick.
Yeah, and so this is when they really get into like the police and the courts. They want to take down the financial stuff here. And then we have a Judge David.
That's how you fucking cut the head off the fucking snake.
That's it.
Yank the money out from underneath any empire that's stealing, that's moving coke. You cut the cash flow, and it's all coming to the ground.
That's what it is. And it's funny too because the guy who had what was it, Brown, who had Jason Brown, who had the money in his house that he was storing.
Hours.
He only had 34.
Oh, okay. That's the guy. That was the banker.
That was the banker.
Yeah.
He had 34 grand in his house. That's what they found him with.
That's it.
Not exactly a Scarface level operation they have here. It's fine, but it's not, like I said, better than me. But
I don't have 34 grand.
No.
But.
So Judge David Ticehurst said, quote, "Those who deal with the financial side of drug dealing are as vital as those who actually deal in drugs and sell them." So that's the angle the British courts are taking here. They're going after everyone equally hard, trying to put everyone down. Now, in May 2007, the police also raided the home, and this is a guy who's going to connect right into our fella here, raided the home of 63-year-old Robert Brooks. Now, Robert Brooks is a foster care father.
Okay.
He's got foster kids. He's a football coach.
Yeah.
But on the streets, he's known as Manchester Bob.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is amazing. That's the worst nickname. Hey, it's Manchester Bob.
But he's essentially the florist from the town. He's just this old hard man.
Manchester Bob.
That's funny.
He had all the expertise, Manchester Bob, too. I just love the name Manchester Bob. It sounds like he's a really good fisherman. That's
I don't know. That
sounds
sounds scary to me.
Manchester Bob. Anyway, they find with his whole thing with Robert Brooks's place here, not the old wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers,
right.
Different Manchester Bob. In Manchester Bob's place, they find a 10-ton hydraulic press, heroin, cocaine, and ketamine. So it
sounds like you just follow the hydraulic press in England. That's where all the coke is and all the terrible drugs.
Call all the machine shops. Are you selling hydraulic presses this week? Also, they found 25,900 pounds, a stun gun, and a notebook detailing what needed to be set up and done to set up a trafficking spot.
You never write it down, you fucking dick.
Literally a how-to manual.
You essentially just took pictures of the cash, you fucking asshole.
It's basically like, okay, when we set up a new operation, we need a press, we need cutting aid, we need this, we need masks, we need gloves. Like
we had an author
down. Yeah, it literally was like, you take it from here and go to here. It was a blueprint, basically.
God, Jesus, what a dick.
Written down in his house. Unbelievable. So Brooks, they didn't catch Brooks. He wasn't home when they raided.
Yeah.
Wasn't home when they raided, so Brooks...
He was out getting some getting his kidneys dialysis shit?
Yeah, I think it was...
He's in his 60s, isn't he?
He is down at the hitching post for the wild 18th anniversary 30% off sale. That's where he is, goddammit. So he takes off. He flees to Weston to help his son, who apparently his son was apparently a drug addict who had run afoul with a local drug crew, and they broke his leg.
Oh,
so he went down to Weston to help his son out.
Help him walk home?
Help him. Come on, kid. Here's a crutch for you. Yeah. Brooks is finally captured in 2008, and he's jailed for 4.5 years on these counts. But he doesn't stay out of the picture.
Okay.
Brooks, okay? Now, when Pierce's crew went down and was truly broken up in February of 2008, after even his lieutenants that he got from prison were busted, there was a big void in the local drug dealing scene.
Of course.
Those don't last long. People are going to step in, and that guy who steps up to it is Craig Rodell, who's a Pierce associate. He grew up in that gang, kind of. He decided to step up into the void, and not only that, step up the operation. None of this fucking $500 for this.
We're not talking about 34 grand sitting somewhere. We want some real cash. We want a 20,000-pound hydraulic press.
This is Rodell sets up an operation that nets about a million pounds a week.
Oh God,
a week.
Oh,
so
boy.
This is heavy.
He found the real cokeheads.
Yeah, he saw what everybody was doing, and he organized it better, and he put it out and did a better job.
That's a real CEO.
Yeah, he managed it. He organized it. Good for him, and he's a real wheeler and dealer too, as we'll get into. He's got his fingers in a lot of stuff here. here. Robert Brooks, the 63-year-old fleeing gentleman, was essential in setting up and continuing the network from behind bars, too. Because he was, Brooks was helping Rodell get set up because Rodell was smart, and he enlisted this guy because he's got the blueprint for how to set up a trafficking spot. He quickly sets up an industrial operation, needs people he can trust, and needs places to process cocaine. Needs those two things.
Those are imperative.
I need people. He found both in James Waithe. Both of those things.
Right back to our scumbag. This is so much fun.
I don't know how to tell a story. So, come on here. What do you think?
I know how to tell a story.
Tell other about the Pierces all night? No, it's leading up to something. Come on here. So Waithe says that he rented Rodell his apartment for £2,000 a week. He just said, I don't know, it was just an apartment. He wanted to rent it. I rented it to him for £2,000 a week. He was saying, I don't know anything about it. We are not sure if Waithe lived there, but we'll get into evidence that says both. Also, Waithe was Rodell's main muscle. He would collect debts and do the threat.
That's the guy you want.
And this is the guy you want.
He does it gently.
He's the gentle way. This is we're going to get into exactly how gentle he is in a second here, because he does some insane shit. It's like wild. Also, he went everywhere with Rodell as his bodyguard. Really? He was his right-hand man. If you see him
big.
Yeah, if you see he's big, and he's a bad son of a bitch. I mean, he's an Olympic Judo fighter. He'll regular people, he'll take them apart. I'm sure. And also too, he has no fear of violence. We'll just say he has an affinity for violence.
It's his favorite.
He enjoys it. He enjoys it. He must enjoy it for what he does here. Rodell used 4 properties throughout Bristol, which were used to cut and store the cocaine.
Yeah.
Okay. Money from the dealings were counted every Sunday, which is amazing, right? They counted every Sunday, and
not God's men.
And it was always around.
Sunday's the day they work the hardest.
Yeah, that's what they do, and it was always around £900,000, basically what they counted up on Sunday. He paid. What Rodell would do, he'd pay £33,000 a piece for a kilo of coke. That's what he would pay, and then cut it up and then make a huge profit on it. There's a quote here that says, Rodell could get his hands on just about anything. He was a bit of a wheeler dealer. So that's the type of guy we're dealing with. Very resourceful, very resourceful. This is an informant that later on flips. I won't tell you who he is yet. We'll get into that in the court. But an informant says, quote, everywhere Rodell went, Waithe went. He was his minder. I knew he was an expert in judo and a bit of a fitness fanatic. So they were all like, that guy's scary. Don't mess with Rodell.
That lets you know he was in fucking shape.
Absolutely, yeah. They said that Rodell made about £2,000 in profit on every kilo sold.
Okay.
Which is amazing. That's, first of all, a lot, because they're selling hundreds of kilos at a time, so that's a shitload of money. And second of all, it's so funny that they buy it for $33,000 and they step on it and they do all this stuff, and that's still a slim profit margin for him personally.
Not that much.
I mean, I don't know if the operation made more than that, but that's his net in his pocket.
And he's going to chip that off to people.
Yeah, I think that's after. That's his profit.
Oh, okay.
That's
pockets. Pretty good scratch.
That's pocketing good money when you're doing.
And if he's moving, he's moving that much a week, $1 million a week. That's a lot of money.
It is. And outstanding debts were brutally made right by Waithe.
I'm sure.
Brutally. It was no doubt. Here's another quote from this informant on Waithe. Quote, he has got a reputation for violence. He would sit down with a person and tell them to make a payment or they will get hurt. If they didn't pay, they would get hurt. And Waithe did the hurting. That was a quote. So it's and some of the things. Here's a quote.
It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah. Here's a quote here about
you get your threat, you get your cash, or you get hurt. It's one of the three. Right.
Let's find out some things that Waithe does here. Let's find out a specific. Okay.
Firebombing.
Quote. This is worse. I think.
Right.
Quote. Andy Murray was tied to a chair by Waithe and beaten with him by a set of nunchucks.
Holy shit.
He put a lit cigarette into his ear and stuck his hand in a toaster. I believe he paid up after that.
Oh my God!
No, this is no joke.
You can't defend yourself from the nunchuck beating you're taking.
Nunchuck beating, cigarette lit in your ear, and a hand in a toaster.
I would hate to fight a man hand to hand that has nunchucks, because clearly you know what you're doing. If you have nunchucks, you know how to use them.
Or you're an idiot from the 80s. But this guy is like the one guy who knows how to use nunchucks. That's the thing. He's like the one guy. You see everybody and they hit themselves in the head. He's the one guy who that could.
I'm still afraid of the guy that hits himself. Like, that's still going to fucking hurt.
Yeah, it's still dangerous.
I don't want to get hit in the hand with those things.
But this guy is sitting people down and torturing them.
And blasting them in the ribs.
He is Michael Madsen in Reservoir Dogs, man. That's what he is, man. That's the type of guy he is.
He's Michelangelo in the Ninja Turtles. That's fucking hurt. That's pain.
He's scarier than Michael Madsen in Reservoir Dogs, though, because at least if you got loose, you might be able to take Madsen. This guy's still going to kick your ass. There's no way to beat this guy.
It's still over.
Absolutely. Now, as far as make a payment plan, he says, quote, the payment plan meant if they missed a week, they paid double. If you missed a payment completely, you got your legs completely broken.
Oh my God!
So that was their deal here.
But I mean, really, that's kind of what I expect. Being honest, like you fuck with wrong people and you take money from the bad people. That's what happens to you.
It does, and you don't want Waithe coming for you saying you owe him anything.
Right.
He threatened to burn people alive. He poured boiling water on people.
What?
And threatened to tie people to a tree and shoot them.
Have you ever seen what boiling water does to somebody?
Horrible.
I had a friend in school whose mom tipped over a pot while she was cooking, and he was a baby crawling on the floor.
Oh, man.
It covered his back.
Oh, no.
And it was the most vile thing I've ever seen in my life. Well, and it was healed, and it was still disgusting.
Did he owe a little money for cocaine? Maybe that's what. Maybe
his mom did.
She was working for the Rodell gang, possibly here. I mean, my God, Rodell told. Here's one incident here where this informant, Rodell, told him and another man named Kevin Downs to, quote, fire a couple rounds at a Bristol home, and basically, and this is Rodell's quote, which. I kind of respect this. This is kind of like an old-timey gangster thing to do. He said to them, quote, leave it until late. Make sure the lights are out as there are kids in the property. Put one in the door and put one in the window.
Wow.
So he said, wait till the kids go to bed and then shoot the place up. You Brits are...
Just two.
You Brits are
because you've only got three bullets.
We're going to save one for later. You never know.
In case somebody comes out.
Who knows?
Right.
So you Brits are the most polite people ever. In America, they just shoot the place up and that's it. Tatters.
They always hit a kid.
They always hit a kid. They say make sure the kids are up, I think, before you shoot at the house.
Do it around 8 a.m. when they're watching Blue's Clues and fill the living room with bullets.
Get the living room down by the floor, too. They like to sit there and eat their Cheerios. These guys
shoot them low.
These guys are literally like, be polite. Let's not be savages about it. Let them, let the kids go to bed.
Put it around the stained glass in the door up top, and then put one through the window.
Unbelievable. So they would go. This informant said they would go to any of their locations. They'd put latex gloves on and they'd cut the cocaine right there. He said they always had cutting agents on hand in every location. He called it a, quote, same-day delivery service for cocaine. So this was a
what can
operation.
white do for you?
Yes. I'm telling you. Just guys in white cars dropping huge amounts of cocaine off. This is a good quote from this informant about counting the money on Sundays. This is a trip because I've never been around enough cash to where I was like, I don't feel like counting all this cash. Have you?
I want that problem so bad.
Have you ever been in an...
I
had
want
to count
that.
so much cash where you're like, this is going to... Fuck it, I'm not doing
ridiculous.
this. This is going to take forever. Like, that's the situation they had.
I want that I can't count that high problem. I want that problem.
They had this. The quote from this is, quote, the counting would take hours. Money would be put into piles, and the piles would get bigger as the day went on.
Oh, you poor babies.
Yeah. In an average week, there would be 150. There would be 750,000, but there would be different amounts from 600 to 900 to $1 million. Basically, just they were counting. People would, I guess, on Sunday.
I would lose track through the fucking smile on my face.
I know, isn't it great?
This is fucking crazy. Can you believe this?
It's wild. So, the Sunday, I guess it's so funny because it's like Sunday, like, some people have like their family over for family dinners and stuff on Sunday. Like, he has everyone come and bring your cocaine money on Sunday. Like, we're all having, I wonder if they had a nice pasta.
Nice counting party.
I wonder if they had a nice dinner too.
They did. They fucking better boil up a nice ham.
Something and get it out on the table for these guys. They work hard.
Yeah.
But they would come in, I'm sure, I could imagine that Sunday you had to come in with all your collected money for the week and anything outstanding.
Put on a tea kettle.
Absolutely. And anything outstanding, and Mr. Waithe will get
You
that
betcha.
for He says about the, here's another quote here from this informer, quote, "The ingredients were always available to cut it, sell it, and move on. It was always ready on hand. And I remember one other time we sold 200,000 pills in one go."
Wow.
200,000 ecstasy pills at once.
That's
So
awesome.
A lot of money. I mean, that's $1 million transaction.
Did
there.
they have a brand? Did they have like a goofy face on them or something?
I wish
that would
I
be
knew
great
that.
to know.
These guys are such idiots, and wait till this right here. We're going to find out exactly how big of an idiot this Rodell
Like a
is.
big fucking bicep from Waithe on it. That'd be kick ass.
That would be awesome. Like a judo punch.
Right.
There's a nunchucks. A set of nunchucks.
Or
That
a
would-
severed leg or some shit.
Just to let you know, hey, if I don't pay for this, I'm going to get beaten by these nunchucks. So
That'll fuck up your high, though, as you take
that'll
that
mess it
pill.
all
Like,
up. I don't know about these. Rodell spent a fortune on jewelry.
Really?
And watches
Asshole.
and diamonds and gold. He was
I
one
hate
of
him.
these. That's what I mean. He was one of these idiots. He had a diamond worth £1 million.
Wow.
A £1 million diamond.
Why would you want that?
What is he going to do with it? Just set it up there. It's my $1 million.
Stare at it?
There's my £1 million
There it
diamond. Come on over and see
Broken
it.
a lot of legs for that.
Yeah, maybe that's what they do on Sundays. They come over and look at his diamond. That's dinner. He said to have over £1 million worth of watches.
Why?
As well.
I don't understand.
Cartier, Rolex, Breitling.
None of that shit matters to
all
me.
the big ones. It matters to drug dealers.
Yeah, it
Dad.
does,
That's why you're not a drug dealer.
Yeah.
You would be a successful drug dealer if you could just have more of a taste for
Have
jewelry.
a penchant
Jimmy.
for
Come on.
something gaudy and
You need
stupid.
a penchant for jewelry. He also owned a yacht in Spain.
That I understand. I'm
Absolutely.
in. I'm into that.
He had a Porsche.
I'm into that.
2 BMWs
Yep.
and a Mercedes.
You betcha.
They said his silver Porsche was a special one because it raced at Le Mans. It
I'm
was like
in.
a special race Porsche.
I like it.
Had the plaque on the dashboard.
Get
from
rid of that
racing at Le
fucking
Mans.
diamond and buy a few more of those.
No, he can't do that.
No.
He's not going to do that. He's got watches to buy, Jimmy. I mean,
Fucking stupid.
this idiot. He's like, I'm collecting diamonds and watches. What are you thinking?
Go fuck yourself with your dumb watch.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Take your money and go bury it somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when you have enough, run away.
What does
are
a
you
watch
doing?
do? You get a fucking watch that tells you the time.
It's and
And it looks nice.
You
You
know
don't
what
need a
watch you should
fucking
get?
diamond.
You should get a Lord timepiece.
Yes.
LordTimepieces.com.
Oh, they're
you
so
should
nice.
go there. We're going to have a
Their
sponsor.
quality.
They're a new sponsor. We'll have an ad for them next
They're
week.
So
We're going to
good.
throw in a little free
they
ad
tell
for
you
them
the
this week.
time,
It's beautiful.
and they look great.
And you don't have to
You
sell
don't have
cocaine.
to be a fucking asshole to wear it.
You don't have to pour boiling water on
No.
people's heads to.
It's a fantastic watch.
It's a fantastic. But this guy, no, I always see these drug dealers, and I always think the same thing because I'm a particular type of person. I'm like, oh, they're making $1 million a week. He's making all this profit.
Yeah.
How do you not, after like 10 weeks, go, see ya, I'm out, and run away?
Good night.
Don't
It's
wanna
over.
get caught.
Yeah.
Here's my cash. I'm
You know
getting
how
on
many
a boat.
Lord watches I can buy with this?
Oh, so many Lord washes. I can order Blue Apron from now until the end
Forever.
of time
Yeah.
and be just up to my neck in Mack Weldon underwear.
It's
gonna be
ridiculous.
amazing. Sorry about that, everybody. We had to. But I see these guys, and I'm always like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
So dumb.
Save it, pretend like you don't have any money, and then just run away.
Yeah.
These guys act like, well, this will go on forever.
You're going to have kids. Take care of them.
No, this guy's like, I'm going to buy all these watches, and I'm going to buy $1 million diamond and put it on my dresser and do all this because this is going to last forever.
So dumb.
They just think this can't possibly end.
Fucking hate him.
I'm too smart.
The greediest shit in the world.
He even set up a diamond selling website.
What?
No,
He's gonna.
Don't.
What do you think? He's De Beers? Go
That's
fuck
what
yourself,
I mean.
man.
It was called Rodell Diamonds.
Ugh.
This idiot said to have spent a ton of money getting the diamond
Of course
business
he
up and
did.
running because
Yeah.
that's a crazy
Because that
business.
shit costs a lot of money.
Absolutely. He also owned a scrapyard. So
Okay.
he's,
I'm into that.
Even if it's not glamorous, he'll do it. He just
Some
wants
blue
money.
collar shit.
Probably a place where you can dump things and
Right.
get rid of things
Yeah.
that you don't want anymore.
Had a
Like-
hydraulic press to get rid of
I was
bodies.
going to say like a hydraulic press full of cocaine residue. You could probably dump it off there. Operations were rolling at Waite's apartment at this point. In June 2009, we got to.
His apartment.
He's got an apartment. It's a flat. Rolling. It's at 79 High Ridge Street, apartment 7.
There
in
you
case
go,
wanna
guys.
Take
Go
a
look.
A tour. A neighbor, next door neighbor, there's some kind of commotion, and he thinks there's a robbery going on next door, a burglary. So he calls.
He hears some nunchucks swinging.
He calls 999, which is 911. It's the emergency
It just sounds
number,
funny.
999 in England there, to report a burglary at the address.
Mm-hmm.
So the police respond to James Waithe's apartment to look at a burglary.
Sans weapons.
Guess what they find?
What did they find there?
Let's run down the list, shall we? 95,000 pounds in cash, 11.2 kilos of cocaine, 738 grams of MDMA, 303 grams of heroin, 200 kilos of cutting agent, 1 pistol, 4 rifles, 1 shotgun, 5 handguns, ammunition, 2 air pistols, 3 military-issue stun grenades,
oh my God,
bulletproof vests, 15-ton industrial press, and 2 tablet-making machines.
And a partridge in a pear tree. Holy shit.
Shit. That's what's found in your place.
And that's your PE teacher.
That's your PE teacher right there. You're going to go party with that guy.
No doubt.
So, wow, that's in his place. His response to this, you would think he owns the place. You ask James Waithe.
Somebody broke in and put it all there.
I don't know anything about it. I just rent.
Where did that come from?
I rent an apartment. I rent it to a dude for $2,000 a month. I don't know what he does in there, which is kind of probably bullshit because they also find personal items of Waithe's on the premises, such as
his driver's license,
such as his judo outfit, which is worse than his driver's license. That is extremely personal and means a lot to him. He's not just leaving that in the thing, and also personal documents and shit you would have, if you live somewhere.
Why is your passport here? Why is the shit in the toilet still? And
why is your judo outfit in the closet? So Detective Superintendent Arthur Lewis of Avon and Somerset Police, and we're going to hear a lot from Mr. Lewis.
Beautiful.
Doesn't it sound nice? The guy, British people, tell us if that's nice or not.
They'll arrest you and then sell you some fucking soaps. Avon, what is that?
It's Avon and Somerset.
Yeah.
It sounds so nice.
Delicious.
And they give you Cadbury Heath chocolates. It's wonderful. He says, quote, "It was very unusual to find this level of weapons in Bristol. Unprecedented, I would say. These were very serious offenses. The investigations, which have gone on for nearly 3 years, have been complex and difficult."
Sounds like it.
Because this is Operation Malbec now to get these guys. So they've had 3 different operations.
They all start with M.
They all start with M. I guess I don't know why, but from the Pierces to now. I mean, this is just going through.
And they got a lucky break here too. Just somebody's like, "Hey, I think there's a robbery going on up there."
And even the police said by complete accident.
Unbelievable.
They stumbled on it by complete accident.
Stumbled on an asshole.
So I mean, they jump in. James Waithe isn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not there. He's off doing whatever, and he's saying he's not. Who knows where he's going? His apartment's being raided. All the shit's being taken. How much cocaine did we see? All of this stuff. I mean, I would like to know where he was.
Yeah.
I think he was out. Maybe he got hungry. He went into a store, and he said, "Look, open it up." And he said, "This smells good." And it's the shawarma man. It's the shawarma man. And he says, "How is it you've come to arrive here? Huh? Why are you here? Why you come here? Why you come here to England at all? Why? You come from place... you got palm trees. You got bikini girl run around Rihanna with boobs.
Smell like ocean.
You come here for boiled ham. You come here, girls, big sweaters on. Why,
you
man?
You want
Why?
shawarma? I boil for you.
I boil. You want shawarma? I boil for you. I carve. Fine. The lamb.
So good.
Sign say closed. Why? Why you come? They should have told you. Sign say closed. No England for you. Go. Oh. Shawarma Man's very disappointed.
He's not thrilled.
He is not thrilled. He's very upset, but he also took him aside and asked him about the cocaine because we know Shawarma Man has a little bit of a problem. So, little problem. Now, in June 2009, right after this happened, I found a judo forum comment board. Yeah. Jesus, because I was looking for people that know him to talk about it. That's what I was doing, man. It's insane. And there's a guy looking for a good place to train for judo. Yeah. And there's a lot of suggestions. One guy suggested, Jim, that Waithe was a trainer at, and the way his quote is amazing. He tells the guy that what a tremendous trainer Waithe is, says he's, quote, not available to teach at the moment, but he's great.
He's predisposed.
He's a little busy at this moment in time. He's got some stuff going on. He's
hysterical.
He's a little arrested.
Did he leave the whole thing out of it? He just said he's just busy right now?
He literally said he's not available to teach at the moment, but he's great. That was his quote.
I'm like, British, you're so polite.
That's super polite. Not available at the moment. He major cocaine bust, and he poured boiling water on people, but... Terrific guy. Fantastic. Fantastic.
That's so funny.
The Arthur Lewis, again, the detective guy we were talking about before,
right.
You have a quote from him, quote, "It will have a significant effect on removing the threat that these organized crime groups pose to the local community, not just in Bristol, but across the Southwest. I think the volume of acquisitive crime committed by these drug addicts, for example, is always affected when you arrest those who supply Class A drugs."
Yeah, they're going to be fucking going crazy.
Yeah, now they're
going
really
through withdrawals.
It's going to be worse now. Yeah, give them their drugs.
You just fucked it up. You just fucked up everything.
Yeah, and there we have a quote from a senior district Crown prosecutor, and his His first name is spelled S-I-A-N. What the fuck is that?
S-I-A-N?
Is that Sean in some weird iteration? I have no idea.
Don't look at me, man.
Sullivan's the last name. I don't know if that's like an Irish way to... I have no clue. I'm going to call him Prosecutor Sullivan.
I like it.
I have no idea.
Let's
I'm not going to
stick with
call him Scion or Cian. I don't know what the hell to call him. He said, quote, "This large-scale drug dealing operation was run like a business, and while it may have been a profitable business, it was an illegal one. Drug dealing with its associated violence and use of weapons by its practitioners causes misery and erodes the fabric of our society."
Wow.
So they're really getting on this moral high horse for this drug shit, whatever. So now our informant that we've been getting quotes from this whole time, there's a guy named Grant Richmond who is a major cog in this drug operation. Not a major cog, but he's one of the guys who had to shoot into that home after
he's the two bullet nice guy.
He's one of the 2 bullet nice. Well, he was instructed to go, wait till the kids are asleep. Come on, wait till they read them their stories.
What was his name? Grant?
His name is Grant Richmond.
Okay.
He turned state's evidence. He turned rat, or as they call it over there, supergrass, as they keep calling it. Remember we got his supergrass from Gavin Grant? We got into that. Supergrass means you're telling on important people, apparently. He said, quote, "Rodell moved heroin, MDMA, cocaine, and ecstasy in big quantities. He had his fingers in just about everything, really. I was just given packages and told a name and a number and when to deliver them. The first time I picked up a firearm for him, it was a sawed-off shotgun. It shocked me because I wasn't used to being around firearms."
Yeah, and sawed-off shotguns are nasty.
Yeah, or as they call it over there, a sawn-off shotgun. That's how every British article, they put an N on it, which I find.
It's adorable.
By the way, can we, sidetrack for 1 second, can we, the U.S. and Britain, we've been friends for a long time now, and there's a great relations between the countries.
Our relationship is very strong.
Can we agree on spellings of shit? Can we do that? We're speaking the same language, and I'm not saying that we're right because you guys had the language first, obviously. What I'm saying is, can we just get together, have some sort of conference in Switzerland like North and South Korea in the 88 Olympics, and figure out when Z's are used as opposed to S's and things like that? Because words like realize and offenses are completely different, and it drives me nuts.
For favorite,
color with the U. I kind of like that. I think it's kind of cool.
It feels good.
It feels nice.
It feels artistic.
It feels fancy. But let's agree on something. I don't give a shit what it is, honestly. If you want to spell cat fucking W-I-L, I don't care. That's fine. But let's agree on it together and not have this problem. Although it makes it easy to tell where somebody wrote something. So
that's kind of helpful.
Oh, favorite with a U. Okay, I know where that's
Canada or fucking UK.
Absolutely. So Lewis again, Arthur Lewis, the detective again, said, quote, "Part of our approach is to utilize all available resources, skills, and legislation to the best we can. Part of gathering intelligence allows us to reward people who come forward with information and intelligence which we can build investigations on." This is about informants. Now, this is a new thing that they were paying informants back then in Avon and Somerset. In 1 year, they spent over $66,000 on informants.
Holy shit.
So that's the only thing that I don't know about. And this was, do you remember in the Gavin Grant case, people got off because people did not believe the informants. That was, they were like, well, he's a rat, and I don't know if he just said that to save his own ass. This doesn't happen in this case. They believe this guy. He's got details and dates and names.
But he makes money from it.
He makes money.
Here, you get time off your sentence. That's your payment.
They do that also, but then they pay people for information, and they do that here too. Cops will do that too. Oh, they have informants. It's not thousands, but it's they got a guy, but they'll throw him $40. You need to watch The Wire, Jimmy. Goddammit, get in there.
I'm going to get into that. I didn't realize that was what we were doing here. I thought it was just time off.
No, they do that, and they'll also, mainly it's not like when you're arrested. Pay your
electric bill or some shit?
When you're arrested, they're not going to give you anything. Then you're getting time off your sentence. But if you're just an informer and they want some information,
you're just running the street.
They'll throw you $500 for a tip on over here. If the tip pays off, they'll give you a little more. It's one of those things.
Figuring some shit out around this town.
You should. There's people that make a living doing that, and there's a lot of people in jail under false convictions because people got paid to say that it was them.
Listen, man,
that happens a lot.
Keep your nose clean.
No shit.
Don't come around me because if I hear some shit about you, I'm singing.
I'm singing, goddammit. I'm calling 999
if it's gonna pay
right
my car payment, fuck yeah, man. I'm tired of making
Jimmy's
this payment.
Jimmy's a rat. Unbelievable. Damn it, Jimmy. I can't trust you. I'm hiding my index cards now from you, you rat bastard. So, Robert Brooks here, our elder statesman, the 63-year-old man who was the mastermind kind of the operation with his notebook. pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine. He is already serving 4.5 years for the Pierce case, and he's to be sentenced more on that. Craig Rodell, the gang's leader, admitted to conspiracy to supply cocaine and possession of firearms with intent to endanger life and possession of explosives.
Wow.
He pleaded to a lot. And Richmond, Grant Richmond, the informant, pleaded guilty as part of the deal, and who knows what he got. He got a bunch of shit knocked off. In court, Waithe testified.
What?
Which is awesome. Waithe testifies under cross-examination from the prosecutor there, Stephen Mooney. He said that he paid $300 a month in mortgage for the flat, and he hasn't lived there since 2005. He sits there. He's like, I don't know what you're saying. I make a profit. That's it. I pay $300 for the mortgage, and I rent it out for $2,000, and I'm happy with that. And I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, well, why is your judo outfit there, you jackass? So I'm not buying that shit.
No.
Not at all. Now,
it's not a good enough story.
No, it's not.
It sounds stupid.
It sounds stupid. Now, in court, prosecutors...
Who is... Real quick. Yeah. Here's why it sounds stupid.
Yes.
Because if you're paying $300 for something, you're not renting that shit for $2,000 a month. Nobody's paying that.
Point.
That's ridiculous.
And I would have liked to see the full testimony where the prosecutor says, you didn't think it was odd that they were willing to pay, 5 times market value for this house,
for this bullshit,
for this apartment?
Right?
Like, why? So
who would do that? That's
I have
dumb.
no idea. So that's one of the things I think that sounds silly is why would they pay you $2,000 a month and you just didn't know anything was going on?
Right.
You just said, wow, they're just suckers.
They're dumb.
These hardcore drug dealers are just suckers. I'm going to rip them off. Good. Like, no, you don't do that.
These
no one
people
does that.
with shitloads of cocaine.
Shitloads and shotguns and stun grenades.
And if they're that dumb, I'm not trusting my prized judo outfit with them.
No, that's
I'm not
the
leaving
other
that
thing.
shit lying around.
Christ
and
almighty.
my passport? Fuck that.
Who knows? Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm not buying any of that bullshit. Now, prosecutors accused him of torturing a man who stole a laptop, 2 Nokia phones, 2 digital cameras, and 2 batteries from his home. He contested, now on the stand, Waithe contested his reputation as a violent person. He said, I'm not a violent person, and we have a 1 in their own words, and it's from court.
The only time he talked.
This is the only time we have a quote from him, and it's a beaut. It really is. This is worth it. This is worth one statement. It's amazing. Here is, in their own words, James Waithe in court testifying. My goodness, buckle up. Unbelievable, man. Okay, in their own words, quote, I'm a forgiving man. If you owed me money, I can't force you to pay me. I didn't pour boiling water on anyone. I didn't assault anyone in any way, shape, or form. I asked the one guy time and time again what he did with my stuff. He told me lots of things. Eventually, he told me where to go recover my stuff. I didn't threaten to burn him alive. I never said I would tie him to a tree and shoot him with a rifle. Never.
Except for while you were beating him with nunchucks. Of course he's going to tell you eventually where it's at. You're beating him about the head and face with nunchucks, sir.
That doesn't sound like me.
No,
he clearly said, I did not. He said, I didn't pour boiling water on anyone. What are you talking about?
He's a dick.
I teach special needs kids. I'm an Olympian, damn it.
Right.
I have a Commonwealth medal.
Exactly.
I didn't threaten to burn him alive. I didn't threaten to burn him alive. If they have you in court denying that you threatened to burn someone alive, you're in deep shit. You're in trouble at that point.
You've gotten in way too deep.
So he's in deep now at this point. And on November 22nd, 2009, after 20 hours of deliberation.
Wow.
Because there was a lot of charges, basically, because he, and we'll go through some of them here. The jury finds Waithe they find him not guilty of 6 counts of possessing firearms and 1 count of possessing explosives, but guilty on the count of possessing firearms with intent to endanger life and conspiracy to supply cocaine.
Yeah.
So not great for him.
No.
23 people total were from this gang that were brought down from this Operation Malbec. So not a bad job by the cops there. They sentenced people to over 150 years total, which I still think is low. In this country, if you get caught with that kind of operation, you're getting 150 years on your own.
Each one.
And everyone else is getting it there. They're like, well, maybe they can be. But their sentences are more realistic, too, and we'll get into here in a second. Assistant Chief Constable Andy Marsh.
Ooh.
That sounds British and official, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I am the Assistant Chief Constable. It sounds like he's got a bowler and a mustache, and he's swinging a billy club.
That bowler is so clean.
Oh, it's clean.
He's a lint roller.
High and clean. Yeah. He says about the convictions, he says, quote, it's a fantastic result. What I'm most pleased about is the streets of Avon and Somerset are much safer because we've got some really dangerous people behind bars. We have been dismantling, disrupting, and destroying their criminal network for over the last 3 years.
All right.
And he's proud of himself.
He's so happy.
He's psyched, man. Detective Superintendent Arthur Lewis, again, back to him, said, quote, throughout the inquiries, we've been grateful for the level of support we received from the witnesses, local residents, and local communities. We will continue to be relentless in pursuing, prosecuting, and bringing to justice people who commit offenses of this nature.
All right.
Not taking any shit. They're taking a victory lap right now. That is total victory lap time for them. Let's see here. Now, December 2009, the Withywood Community School that he worked at updates their schoolsnet.com profile. I wonder why. I found their schoolsnet.com profile for the school, and I was looking up a bunch of shit. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm looking up shit. You never know, right? And I don't know if they had staff or something on there, but they said last updated December 2009, and this is now in 2017. Yeah. So they needed to update it one time. And they were like, wipe all record of
Get rid of that guy
off
entirely.
The fucking marks. Yeah, we need him gone. The judge, Judge Darwell Smith, gives the sentence for Waithe, and he says, we have a really good judge quote here. This is excellent. He says, quote, you had a reputation for violence. You were Rodell's muscle and enforcer. At one stage, you poured boiling water over a victim. During another incident, you held a man as Rodell put a lighted cigarette in his ear. You, sir, may fuck off.
Right.
Fuck right off. Waithe is given a nominal sentence of 18 years.
Wow.
Which means he is eligible for release after 9 years, but will only be freed when he is no longer considered to be a public threat.
Yep.
So basically they said, you get your ass in that fucking cage, you maniac.
And Waithe it out.
And fuck. Oh,
we almost got through
Kicking
it.
the nuts from over here. We almost got there, Jimmy. Damn it.
You,
Almost
sir, may
threw a hole
Waithe
in
it out.
Oh, bastard. You got me. You got me good. We really got to sit closer because your nuts are dangerously unkicked right now. So that is a sentence right there.
Yeah.
So now if you look at this, now he's in prison. He's fucked. Man, that Leah Murphy and her kid was born in jail.
That's so
With
terrible.
The Pierces are destroyed. The Brookses.
Can't imagine that was a cleanly fucking childbirth.
No, God, and people have broken bones and they've had lit cigarettes in their ears. By the way, the man who had the hand in the toaster, Andy Murray, had leukemia at the time they were torturing him when they put a lit cigarette in his ear.
Put a cancer patient's hand in a toaster.
And a lit cigarette in his ear. So these people, that you have them, you have, God, their families. Poor brother Frank is, his Jerry curls drying out with sadness from him. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I feel bad for all these people, but not nearly as bad as I feel for James Waithe, a journeyman construction worker in the greater New York area. Or James Waithe, owner of a Mazda dealership in Richmond, Virginia.
There are Mazdas all over Virginia with James Waithe's name all over the back.
We don't know that because on his profile, on his LinkedIn profile, it just says, quote, owner Mazda. So I'm not sure if he owns a dealership or he just owns a Mazda.
He just loves his Mazda 3, wants everybody to know.
Very excited about it. That's all it is. Just, hi, James, Mazda owner.
Zoom.
Zoom. That's it. So maybe that's all he was after. I don't know. James Waithe, construction worker in Lima, Ohio. By judging by his MySpace profile picture, it's still up. Yeah, I'm on MySpace looking people up. Guys, I'm telling
awesome.
you. Patreon.com/crime and sports. He is really into model airplanes, it looks like. His profile picture is him down on one knee with like one of those airplane, like toy airplanes you fly, like a remote control, one of those.
Fucking nerd.
He is registered to vote in Allen County, Ohio.
All right.
And there is way too much information on the internet about this guy. I could have given you this guy's way more than James Waithe. Like his family, his background, where he's from, his ancestry. This dude, James Waithe the third. By the way, he's at the third, so he's a junior plus one.
How is he not fucked up?
He did fuck up.
He got into model planes.
That's true.
He's broke as fuck.
Yeah, no shit. He's spending all his construction money on airplanes. This poor bastard, man. This is the guy I feel. But get your shit off the internet. Get your there is so much information about you on the internet.
That's too bad.
It's scary. If I wanted to ruin this guy, I think I have enough information to do it. So be careful. And finally, and most of all, I feel bad for James Waithe, who's an IT service desk analyst at Atua BBA in the UK.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's a black dude in the UK named James Waithe.
That's terrible.
That's bad because so is our friend here, Mr. James Waithe. On March 5th, 2010, Craig Rodell is sentenced. He's sentenced to a minimum of 8 years in prison. He got less time than Waithe, I guess, because they consider the violence. But I mean, the violence is on his behest.
No doubt.
I mean, it's
because of him.
Behest, on his behalf. Like, what are you doing?
It's his work that caused it.
Yeah, but apparently that's all you need for them.
I suppose.
May 13th, 2011, there's an appeal of the sentence for Waithe. Of the sentence. They can appeal the sentence, just that. Judge Langstaff said the relationship between Rodell and James wasn't, quote, wasn't of boss and servant. It was of armor and armored. So he basically said, you weren't his little a beck and call boy.
You were enjoying it.
You were his muscle. You stood right by him. You were his armor. So that makes a lot of sense, actually. He said, quote, in conclusion, we have decided that there is no proper argument that the sentence imposed upon the appellant are out of step with those imposed on Mr. Rodell.
Keep fucking off.
Keep fucking off. Go Waithe it out. So, there, you happy? Fuck you. So, in 2011, the court is going for now this is one thing they do over there, and they do it here too. Court is going for now confiscation hearings.
Really?
So what they do over there...
Take all his shit?
Take all his shit, but it's also, like here, basically, whatever they confiscate, they keep that shit, and that's what they got, basically. If they'll look for all your assets, and whatever they find, but that's it. They don't say, like, you owe us $5 million now, and then you owe them $5 million. Or over there, they do a confiscation hearing, which means you have to pay this much money if they feel that you have and that you're hiding.
Awesome.
And if you don't, you get an extended sentence.
Awesome.
So it's a completely different deal over there. So they do this. They want everything from this gang. They want it all. Deputy Chief Prosecutor Vicky Cook said, quote, cash, boats, houses, pets can be very expensive. They're all assets we'll look to confiscate.
Fantastic.
She's looking to get somebody's dog in there. We are going to get that.
We're going to take
dog.
Everything, inclling the Pomeranian. We want it all.
Yeah. Get him groomed up because we're coming to get him.
I hope it was worth a lot of money because we're going to sell it.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to sell your fucking dog.
That's what they're doing.
That's awesome.
They're going to sell your dog. Now, September 1st, 2011.
That's ruthless. That is ruthless. That's what gangsters do. They say that shit.
Like, short of we're
going to kill your fucking dog if you don't pay us. Cops are doing that.
Short of pouring boiling water on someone, that's about all you can do. You can
that's
threaten
gangster shit.
That's the government version of gangster right there. The prosecutor said the gang made $70 million total in their operations. Dr. Christy Cogram, who's with the Financial Investigation Unit of the Avon Somerset Police, said, quote, it is not acceptable that criminals benefit from illegal activities, and we will relentlessly pursue them through the courts to ensure their money is taken.
I don't disagree.
By doing this, we show criminals that they will not benefit from crime and hopefully deter others from entering a life of crime.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but eventually you got that, but he still got to wear Rolexes, and that's what people see, so that's not going to work.
Stare at giant diamonds.
Because everyone thinks, if only I could do that without the getting caught part, I got this. And I think that's what no one expects to get caught and get their shit taken, I feel like. Otherwise, they wouldn't get $1 million diamonds and $10 million worth of watches. They would just make some money and then run away to Barbados and live under a palm tree.
That's a good point, too. He left the brilliant place to go somewhere to go deal in drugs.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
get out after. I wouldn't have to do anything illegal making boatloads of cash for more than 2 months.
No.
To fucking live a life fantastically.
See ya. Never going to hear from me again.
Bye.
So the judge in this case orders both Rodell and Waithe to pay back $1 million each.
Whoa.
They want $1 million. That's on top of all the shit they've already taken. Detective Constable Chris Taylor says, quote, this brings an end to a complex inquiry into a serious criminal network, the type of which causes fear in our communities. This judgment will take that fear and place it squarely at the feet of organized crime.
You betcha.
So they're trying to say, because now they have to pay that back or they're going to prison longer.
Right.
Now he can appeal this, though, and the appeal comes down in May of 2012.
Okay.
A 3-judge panel said that the original judge, Simon Darwell Smith, the, you sir may fuck off judge, quote, reached conclusions which we are obliged to conclude were not open to him. So basically said he fucked up, the judge, by assuming that Waithe was basically they were saying that he assumed that Waithe was let in on the profits, that he was a profit a profiting member of this rather than an employee.
Right.
And they say more like he's an employee.
He's a shareholder.
He's a They're saying he's not a shareholder. He's just an employee making a salary.
Oh,
so he wouldn't have $1 million. They were just paying him his $2,000 a week salary.
But the court's saying he is a shareholder?
And no, the court's saying that he's not. They're saying he's not a shareholder.
So he doesn't need to pay $1 million.
$1 million was too much, and they said to him, I mean, his lawyers were saying, like, look, he's an employee. He made $2,000 a week, and out of that $200 or $104,000 or whatever that he made that year, he spent it all. Right. All he has is the $250 that he had on him when he was arrested. That's all he owns in the world, which I find very hard to believe. But that's what they're telling him. They reduced the order that he has to pay from $1 million. What do you think they're going to reduce it to?
And 900.
900,000? Yeah. They reduce it to 254 pounds.
What?
$4 more than he had in his pocket.
Wow.
I don't know what they were like. We each need a pack of Hubba Bubba.
They really fucking convinced him.
They convinced him. It's the 250 you had, and then like $4 because we're going to get a cheeseburger later.
Press some license plates and hook us up.
That's it. So then he's reduced to that. Unbelievable. So yeah, it's.
But he's still fucking off for the time.
That's it. He's on for the time. It's 9 years, like I said, until he's deemed not a threat to society. Apparently, the prosecutors were still insisting he has hidden assets of over $1 million.
I'll bet he does.
But you know what? Prove it.
Yeah,
you can't.
He's going to get out and go back to Barbados and be fine the rest of his life.
He should.
Yeah.
If I was
hope
him,
he does.
Just stop torturing people. Just don't torture people, guys. We've said this a lot with different things. We've been like, hey guys, please do us a favor while you're out there. Don't rape anybody.
Yeah, just don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Yeah. Don't rape. Don't rob. Don't knock people over the head. Don't torture people.
Don't firebomb houses.
Don't firebomb houses. That was the first hint that this was going to go awry. And like, oh, that's nice. He's in the games. He's a sensei over here. Oh, he firebombed a man's house because he damaged his car.
And a guy's got leukemia. How about? He's about to die anyway. Leave him alone.
Put his hand in a toaster. He's got to pay up. God damn it! This is what I'm saying. These guys were. This is a crew of animals, man. It's a crew of animals. It's real. Insane, and that's James Waithe, and he's still sitting in prison.
Waithing it out.
We're waithing it out, and we're going to get to shout-outs in a second here. Man. I just want to tell you guys also. Please tune in this week. What we're going to do is we have a new podcast coming out, and I hope you've been listening to the other new podcasts that are kind of our group put out here, the P.S. I Hate This Movie, but me and Jimmie have something of our own. We have two new ones, but one now and one a little later. One now is a Small Town Murder. So please subscribe to that, Small Town Murder. We're going to put a preview episode. And yes, I bitched about preview episodes, and goddamn it, I have a huge bitch about a preview episode this fucking week because a show came out. This is ridiculous. A show came out. Did you see this, Jimmie? Have you been looking at iTunes charts this week?
I try my best to fucking stay away because I get enraged.
Oh, man, did I get enraged. Well, I look at the iTunes charts, and I see a show that's number one overall.
Oh, no.
I'm like, how is that show number one overall? It's brand new. I'm not even talking in its category overall.
And then I look of everything?
Of everything. And I look at it, and I'm looking into it, and basically a podcast network, which you know are my favorite, they put this podcast out. It's on this network, and what they did is every single podcast on that network put the first episode in their feed.
Bastards.
So if you subscribe to, Go Fuck Yourself Weekly and you click onto it, that podcast that you didn't even subscribe to is in the feed of Go Fuck Yourself Weekly to spread it. They all talked about it incessantly on their shit and pumped it up to number one. And you know what? We can't do that. We don't have that. No. We don't have that capability. You know what? We have us. We're comics. We're not journalists. No. Like I said, we don't have a big network. We don't have any of this shit.
We have you guys.
So please, guys, spread the word of Small Town Murder. We are going to do the same douchebag fuckhead thing and put it in our feed of crime and sports so you guys can find it more easily. And then please go subscribe to it. Help us out with that. Yeah. Rate, review on iTunes. Even though you've heard it'll be a 4-minute description of us, go ahead and rate it 5 stars and say how great it is. Like all these people.
This shit's amazing.
Like all the networks hire the fucking people to do and hire, whoever to go, hey, everybody, it's a little bonus this week if you don't get on iTunes. So rather than do that, help us out organically and the real way because it's going to be a show.
The right way.
It's just like this. It's a show about murders that take place in small towns, weird little small town politics mixed with odd stories.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right
the
now.
The governor's fucking the victim's wife or some shit. I love that stuff.
I have a great story locked and loaded for the first episode. It's in Italy, of all places, and it's probably the craziest story I've ever heard. All up and down looking for DNA and thinking they found the right person, but not, because their DNA is also theirs of other people in their families.
Fascinating.
It's an insane case. There's
I can't wait to hear
bodies being dug up. It's wild, and it's just a disaster in these small, weird northern Italian mountain towns. And it's real as shit. It's going to be amazing.
This shit happened.
And on Crime and Sports, we have some amazing stuff coming up in the next month, Jimmy. For our anniversary episode.
That's going to be so fun.
Our anniversary, I believe it'll be our 53rd or 54th. I think it's our 54th episode because we did 53.
Yeah, there was 53 weeks because of the leap year.
Ryan Leaf, we did an extra. We did
that
a bonus.
Too. So there may be 54.
So I think this will be our 54th episode, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll say in big letters, 1 year anniversary. Yeah. And we have a serial killer.
An
actual
a real one.
Who is a serial killer. And it's probably one you've not heard much about, but he killed a shitload of people.
So many.
And it's crazy. It's a crazy story that leaks on for decades with bodies. And it's wild. We also have a Russian who tore a man's heart out of his chest. We have
Do you want to tell the fun part about
murderers. It's insane.
The fun part about the anniversary one is that we're going to go through it.
Yes.
And then on Thursday, you will get the conclusion. So we'll give you 2 that week because everybody's screaming about wanting 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're going to piece it together and give you tons of information on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we'll give you the money shot.
That will be for the anniversary because it's honestly so much
so
crime.
Much.
It's too
There's
much
so
for an
many
episode.
bodies.
I don't want to do a 4-hour episode. Torture you.
Ruin your fucking day.
We'll break it up over the course of the week. We'll get 2 shots that week, but it's going to be so much fun.
That's my favorite part about it.
It's going to be a blast. But guys, we have so many shout outs to get to. Please,
it's so deep.
Please, guys.
This week.
Number 1, to get a shout out. First of all, please rate, review on iTunes.
Yeah.
Tell us you like us. Give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions or whatever kind of jargon you want to do. But that helps us out so much. And if you want to help the show out further, please get on patreon.com/crime and sports. Donate to the show. First of all, we are the most thankful for that of anything. We are just blown away by that. It helps us so much. It helps us, first of all, run the show, operate the show, buy equipment we need for the show, like note cards and things like that are more expensive than you'd think.
Yep.
Not only that, it helps us also. I can subscribe to websites that have old newspapers and things like that, and I can get you the best research humanly possible, which I'm trying my best right now. But please get on that. It's super, super important. And if you want to just shout us out on social media, that'll also get you a shout out. If you want to follow us at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Instagram, Crime and Sports on Facebook, and also crimeandsports@gmail.com if you want to drop us a line. And let's hear about some of the great people that talked to us this week,
You
Jimmy.
can find me on Twitter at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, and that's on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. 2 people on Snapchat that I love are Sam in London and Sausage in Wales. Those guys are a lot of fun.
Also, too, at Jimmy P is funny. You can find me.
Find him, too.
Yeah.
And Sarah Ugolini.
Sarah Ugolini. I know her.
Oh, do you?
Does she shout us out? On
she talks about us constantly on the page. Yeah, she's over there liking things. And
Sarah, I went to kindergarten with Sarah.
Hilarious.
I have known Sarah my entire life.
Ugolini's
Grew up with her.
all over the place.
She's a terrific girl. She was one of my best friends in high school. Really good person.
Brendan Bland. And then Nicole Dimsdale saw a picture of us on Instagram. And going back to us being thankful, she said, "You two are so good looking." And it made my week. And she changed on her Facebook page. She has "We're Not Fucking About" as her
that's great.
background picture.
Wow.
That's pretty fucking dope.
She's blind, but good for her. That's terrific.
She's blind, but she figured out how to change her.
Got cataracts, but she's a nice lady. Thank you, Nicole.
And then Janita Rauta. I don't know. That's a weird spelling. Rauta. I don't know her. But she's very nice
Thank
as
you.
well.
Talking to us.
Sarah Bauer Moxley, Sophie Louise, and Gloucester. Is that it? Gloucester?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You mispronounce the name and have them yell at you.
Catherine
yell at me.
Trendy, K.M. Davis, Tony Valenti, Logan Ross in Bama, Janet Leonard, and Jess in Bardstown, Kentucky. She's new. And Ellen in Iowa. She's also new.
Awesome.
Bell Verga, Liam Cook. I believe he's in
It sounds like England.
Yeah.
Liam Cook.
Cook.
He's English.
Anthony
Liam.
Buckley, Bob Carmack, Slim Noodle. That's pretty dope. I dig that name.
If you're not British, you're British now, Liam. Sorry.
Shannon and Falmouth at Falmouth Elementary. I like Falmouth. Yeah,
like that's
She's a teacher. Lethal Weapons on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yep. Benjamin Jacquard, Danny Crane, and Richard Birmingham. Thank you guys so much. And Kerrigan in Baltimore, still thinking about your little boy. He hasn't had his surgery yet. They postponed it. It's coming up in a couple weeks. So thoughts to Aiden. Keep thinking about that little guy.
Poor guy. Yeah, man. Good. Jeez. Help him out. Does he have a Patreon? Also, to Stephen Schnell. Did we mention Stephen Schnell?
We have before in the past.
Okay, Stephen Schnell threw some money on us on Patreon. So thank you, Stephen Schnell. That means the world to us and helps us out so much. It really does.
Thank you all for listening, especially all those people, because you've been interacting and tweeting and talking to us, and that's fucking huge.
No, it means the world to us. It really
and
does.
Our girls that went to the fucking Hockey Hall of Fame.
That was amazing.
Looking for,
we have to shout them out. That was amazing. That was Tell My Pimp I Quit and BG Bandita, right? Yeah, they're so cool. Thank you guys for doing that. That was really cool. And thinking of us, the fact that you would go out of your way to go somewhere because of us, that's just kind of funny.
Is awesome. You guys paid a cover charge to get into something because of us.
No, absolutely.
That's huge.
We cannot thank you guys enough for that. We can't thank you for everything you do for us because we can't thank you enough for everything you do for us because it really means the world to us. Yep. Honestly,
it keeps this going and it makes us feel like we're doing something right and helping you get through your fucking work week because I know it sucks for me too.
Yeah, man. So we're trying. We're trying. Thank you guys. You've helped us so immensely. Really, like. I can't tell you guys, but like I said, we don't have a network. No. When we say that, we don't have 15 other podcasts that will put us on our feed when we need a little pump. Right. We just have you guys that bother your friends and say, please listen to this podcast. These guys are funny, or these guys are assholes, and you'll hate and them. Listening. Whatever you get to do to get people to listen to it. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it because it means the world to us, and it keeps us going. Honestly, it keeps this going. And we're going to do this forever. By the way, we had a guy on Twitter this week say that you guys are going to run out of stuff.
No, it's not going to happen.
No, I have about 100 guys on my board at home, and that's just scratching the surface off the top of my head. So we have at least 3 more years of this off the top of my head right now, about 150, and that's without anyone else fucking up, without any more disasters.
And every week somebody posts something on our Twitter feed or on our Facebook page of somebody that just fucked up and caught another case. So. And that's good. Those guys are just going to keep fucking going down that road, so I'm fine with it.
I found, and there's some, too, that I'm waiting for. There's a case I'm dying for. It's a baseball player, a minor league baseball player who beat 3 people to death with a baseball bat.
Doesn't get any better than that. That's
the irony
perfect.
of that is incredible.
So perfect.
And it's deep, too, because he was he was on a psych hold in a hospital, and they let him go because there was no room.
Yeah.
It's insane, this story, and I'm waiting for the trial, and it's just not happening. I'm like, try this fucking guy already so I can talk about it.
It's just as good as the Hammer murdering his best friend with a hammer.
That's amazing.
Same thing.
I don't think anything's as good as that.
Baseball player killing 3 people
including
with a
his father, by the way.
Okay.
Including family members. I can't wait. It's incredible.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
These are the stories. I mean, they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. We have a lot of murder,
Stick
rape,
around. Get comfortable,
horror.
goddammit.
It's all coming towards you. Guys, can't thank you enough. Yeah. We'll be back next week, as always, live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from Law and Crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus